Chapter 1283. Powerhouses from all sides arrived. The void trembled, but no one showed up. Either the person in the dark was too strong or too weak. Either way, they couldn't force him to show up. Once everyone arrived, Heavenly King, he said, "We don't know where the secret place is and what opportunities there are. But we know the general route. The entrance is inside the Myriad World Palace. Myriad World Palace is the place of the court meeting. It was said that John Tion D's last battle took place in Myriad World Palace. The secret place might be related to Jean Tion D. After that, Batian D attacked the Celestial Court and fought in Myriad World Palace. After that, the last battle in Heavenly Realm happened." Luan said impatiently, "Just say it. Can you help me break through 8 times? If you can, I will go in. If not, you think he said he wanted to leave? No. If not, then pay up. Otherwise, I won't let any of you in. Whoever goes in, I will blast the void and cut you to death." Everyone was speechless, but this was in line with Luan's style. It was too much to expect him to leave. It was Heavenly King Yi's first time dealing with him. He was speechless but still smiled. "Of course, there will be opportunities. If not, I wouldn't have come here." "That's good." Luan was relieved. He carried his sword and said, "Then let's go. Let's go together. Forget it. Tell half of your people to go in with me, and the rest to guard here. When I go in, you can come back." Heavenly King E and the others were furious. "You're smart. You're afraid that there are people in the dark. You want half of your people to guard here, while you go in first? Dream on." Luan said carelessly, "What's wrong? Something's wrong. If you don't agree, then forget it. If you don't agree, then don't go in. Of course, if you're willing to sacrifice half of your people to die with me, that's fine too. You'll definitely make a profit. If a few Heavenly Kings die, and the future Emperor, die, you'll definitely make a profit." Everyone looked at him again. Luan was the second Fangping. Even Li Zhu's eyes were strange. Heavenly King Luan was not this shameless before. Now, he was acting like Fangping. Maybe he saw that Fangping was not stingy and earned a lot, so he followed suit. If he didn't, he would turn hostile. If he didn't, he would flip the table. Yes, that's the attitude. If he had not learned this from Fangping, he would not have believed it. Luan was very arrogant. She carried her great sword and looked at everyone provocatively. He was just that arrogant. "What's going on? I want to go first. So what?" In any case, he was here to find someone to fight and reap some benefits. Even if he couldn't get in, he wouldn't be disappointed. Heavenly King Yi stared at him for a while, but didn't say anything. Li Zhu sighed inwardly, then said smilingly, "Since Chaotic Heaven King has said so, of course, no problem. I'm just afraid that there are still dangers in the Myriad World's palace. Stop trying to scare me." The Chaotic Heavenly King replied nonchalantly, "Aren't you afraid that I'll go first and take the benefits first? All right, you can also come with me." Heavenly King, he said indifferently, "Even if we go there, we might not be able to find the secret grounds." "It's none of your business." Heavenly King, he didn't pay any more attention to him. Originally, he wanted to say some things, but who knew that this fellow would cause trouble, so he couldn't be bothered to say anything more. "Then let's split into 2 groups. Those who go first may face some dangers from the Myriad World's palace. Those who go later, be careful of people lurking in the dark and suddenly attack, shaking up the void and causing all the cracks to explode." 2 groups, both in front and behind, were dangerous. No one knew what the situation was like in the Myriad World's palace. It looked quiet, but it might not be safe. Moreover, the first group was also considered to be exploring the way, so it was also very dangerous. At this moment, King Qian said indifferently, 3 groups. Let's have someone explore the way first, and see which side has the least hidden cracks, which is the safest. As soon as this was said, the crowd became slightly restless. Exploring the way was also an extremely dangerous thing, especially in this situation where there were void cracks everywhere. Li Zhu and the others didn't have any objections. Exploring the way was a common method to explore ancient sites. Heavenly King Yi smiled faintly. All right, however, we still need to discuss who will stay and who will enter the second group. The difference in strength between the two sides shouldn't be too big in case of accidents. A group of people who schemed against each other worked together to search for treasures. They were all top-notch powerhouses, so they didn't bother to hide their intentions. Li Zhu smiled. Heavenly King martial artists, including Heavenly King Chaotic, there will be a total of 10 people. King Qian, Heavenly King Yi, and Heavenly King Chaotic are all breaking 7. Then there will be 2 breaking 7 and 3 breaking 6. This arrangement is fine. I will leave first. Heavenly King Chaotic shouted, but no one said anything. King Qian glanced at Li Zhu, then at Heavenly King Yi, and smiled. Then I will go with King Lord Li. Heavenly King Yi raised his brows slightly. This meant that these people wanted him and want to leave first. He thought that these people would definitely let him stay behind. Li Zhu and King Qian didn't mind too much. Since Heavenly King Yi and the others waited for them, it was obvious that there was something that needed their help. Li Zhu looked at King Qian, smiled, and nodded, tacitly agreeing. King Qian also smiled, but in his heart he was vigilant. He went with Li Zhu because he was worried that Li Zhu, this black-hearted fellow, would betray him. If he and Luan left first, there was a high chance that Li Zhu would disturb the void. One shouldn't be afraid of experts, but they should be afraid of villains. Li Zhu's heart was gloomy, and even he was slightly vigilant. King Zhen, go first, King Qian said, and King Zhen nodded. Li Zhu smiled. Tianji and Tian, she will go first. This way, Sheng Hong, Lu Shan, and Yin Fei would be the last to leave. No one objected to this arrangement. At this moment, it was the first group to explore the path that needed to be chosen. Li Zhu smiled. We don't need too many explorers. The sages will lead, 2 monarchs, and 5 true gods will be enough. Martial artists of different realms would go to explore if different realms would cause different changes. Heavenly King Yi agreed with this fellow again. Li Zhu's words easily resonated with others. This fellow didn't take sides and smiled. Sage Haiyu, I will trouble you to go with us. A sage appeared in the heavenly court. Hearing this, everyone became silent. In the crowd, Haiyu's expression changed slightly, but she still walked out and said in a deep voice, Then I will go. The heavenly court's execution was good. Li Zhu asked the sages to explore the path, and Haiyu didn't object. Seeing this, Heavenly King Yi smiled. Nephew Medicine Master, go with us. Medicine God Island Master and Medicine God Venerable Emperor heard this and walked out. Then everyone looked at King Qian. Obviously, one of the 2 venerable emperors needed to be sent by the divine sect. King Qian turned his head and looked at the venerable emperors. Including Fang Ping, there were 4 of them. King Qian looked at Fang Ping and smiled. Fellow cultivator Niu, although exploring the path is dangerous, it is also safe. What do you think? If it is not suitable, let Tian Yun explore the path. He didn't force Fang Ping to go, and his words were polite. Fang Ping didn't hesitate and smiled. Since you think highly of me, I will do my best. After that, Fang Ping also walked out. As soon as he walked out, the timid King Pingshan suddenly gritted his teeth and said softly, Lord King Qian, I am afraid the divine sect still needs a true god to explore the path. I have been in the divine sect for many days, but I haven't made any progress. Since there is danger, I will go first. King Qian was slightly surprised, but he still nodded and smiled. Thank you, Ping Shan. King Ping Shan walked out, looking like he was facing death calmly. I am not afraid of death. Fong Ping glanced at him from the corner of his eyes, speechless. Why are you following me? Ping Shan walked out. Soon, another true god of the divine sect was also named by King Qian. The divine sect had one emperor level and two true gods. This was their sincerity. Seeing this, Heavenly Kingy laughed. Soon, two people also walked out from behind, one from Medicine God Island, and the other from West Palace. Finally, everyone looked at Water God. Water God Island had not sent anyone yet. Seeing that there were only a few of them, they did not ask too much. However, at this moment, they all looked at Li Wuji. Obviously, Li Wuji was going to explore the path. Water Buffalo was full of dissatisfaction. Why are you staring at me? I don't want to go. If I follow the patriarch, I will be safe. If I follow these guys, who knows what will happen to me? Yin Fei glanced at Water God. Water God frowned slightly, but soon smiled and said, Okay, Wuji, you go. Patriarch, Water God said, just go. It is not that dangerous. The later part is more dangerous, with the heavenly kings around. If you are not careful, you will die. Now that the heavenly kings are staying, you will be safer. The few parties will not plot against each other, in case the cooperation ends before it starts. Hearing this, Li Wuji had no choice but to walk out reluctantly. In this way, the person to explore the path was chosen. As for how the second and third groups would go, it was none of Fong Ping's business. Fellow Niu, when you go there, don't act rashly. The Myriad World's palace may not be safe. Wait for our arrival. King Qian reminded Fong Ping, and Fong Ping nodded repeatedly. King Qian thought for a while, and suddenly said, Do you have a holy weapon? Fong Ping smiled bitterly. Holy weapons are treasures. I am only the island owner of a barren island. How can I have a holy weapon? Tianbai, temporarily lend the saint token to fellow Niu for protection. Hearing this, Tianbai was a little worried, but seeing King Qian's expression, Tianbai felt a little helpless, but still handed a small seal to Fong Ping. Fong Ping was flattered. Sir, how can you do this? This is a treasure, and it is also Sir Tianbai's holy weapon. It's okay. I'm just borrowing it temporarily. King Qian smiled. After fellow Niu proves his Tao and becomes a saint, there will be a reward when we go back. Although a holy weapon is rare, a genius is even rarer. Fong Ping was very touched, and with a face full of excitement, he took the saint token from Tianbai. But in his heart he sighed with emotion, what a good man. Although Tianbai's strength was average, he refined the saint token first and disguised himself, so it would be easier for him to seize the treasure. It was good, too. It saved him some trouble. King Qian urged for a while, and Fong Ping listened carefully. Soon, he gathered with Hai Yu and the others. The exploration team consisted of 1 saint, 2 emperors, and 5 true gods. At this moment, everyone looked at the Myriad World's palace surrounded by darkness, and they were still a little serious. There were many cracks. A little carelessness would lead to a dead end. At this time, a lot of soybean-like particles appeared in the hands of Medicine God Island's emperor, and he said with a smile, Fellow Taoists, these are void spirit worms cultivated by Medicine God Island, and they are the most suitable for exploration. Hearing this, Hai Yu glanced at them and said with a smile, Then, thank you. This is indeed a good thing, and it is extremely sensitive to the void cracks. I did not expect Medicine God Island to have this thing. It's just a small thing. Medicine God Emperor did not say much and threw out a handful of soybeans. These soybeans, as soon as they entered the void, instantly turned into beetle-like creatures and began to move in all directions. Bang! As soon as they entered the dark area, a beetle exploded and disappeared directly. Medicine God Emperor frowned slightly, and a 4-petal lotus appeared on the spot. Some void cracks could be seen, and some could not be seen at all. And what everyone needed to explore was to find those invisible cracks. However, they could not break the cracks wantonly. Otherwise, it would cause a chain reaction, and the entire area would explode, which could easily cause a large-scale void collapse. Dozens of beetles moved forward along different routes. Soon, Medicine God Emperor said, "Go in any further, the void spirit worms will be destroyed, and we will not be able to determine the strength of the cracks, and it will be even more dangerous." They did not hesitate and stepped into the dark area one after another. Avoiding the cracks did not mean that there were no cracks. There were so many cracks here that it was impossible to avoid all of them. They could only try not to touch the areas with the strongest cracks. In front, Hayu casually broke some cracks. The movement was very small, not daring to cause cracks in other places to break together. Everyone searched for a safe path in this dark void. Fong Ping was also making a move. As a top-level emperor, an existence close to a saint, even if it was a crack that broke 5, Fong Ping could still block it. At this moment, Ping Chuan transmitted his voice. "Sir, when we reach the opposite side, should we kill them?" "Sir, snatch the treasure alone and disturb the void here so that they can't come in." Fong Ping glanced at him. "You are really ruthless." However, he did not know that King Pingshan thought that he was just playing along with Fong Ping's words. The reason why he insisted on going with Fong Ping was that he was afraid that Fong Ping would do this. Fong Ping was the first to reach the opposite side, waiting for the others to come in. If he suddenly attacked, they would not even know that they were dead, and that would be so frustrating. Fong Ping was a selfish person and a shameless and sinister villain. How would he dare to enter later? Not only King Pingshan, but in fact, King Huai, who was on the opposite side at this moment, was also praying that Fong Ping would not find the entrance to the mystic realm on the opposite side. He was also afraid. Fong Ping, this guy, if he could not find the entrance, then forget it. But if he found it, then they would really be in danger. If he could not find Fong Ping, he could still wait for them. If he found it, with Fong Ping's character, would he be satisfied if he did not kill a group of people? Looking at the group of people going deep into the dark area, a trace of worry appeared in the depths of King Huai's eyes. He was not worried about Fong Ping and the others, but worried about himself. They must not find the entrance. Fong Ping, this guy, was the most suitable to enter last. If he insisted on entering first, who would dare to be at ease? What the hell is this place? The dark area. At this moment, Li Wuji had turned into a mini calf. He did not dare to maintain a large size. It was too dangerous. At this moment, he forcibly compressed himself, making himself only a little bigger than a kitten. While dodging those cracks, Li Wuji said, "Everyone, do you think that we really have a share in this benefit? The Sea Region Saints are fine, but we are either true gods or venerable emperors. Where do we get the confidence to compete with the powerhouses?" Medicine God Venerable Emperor said softly, "Fellow Taoist Wuji, calm down. Pay attention to the void cracks." Seeing that he was unwilling to pay attention to him, Li Wuji looked around and soon saw King Pingshan. He suddenly came over, with a smile on his bold face. "Pingshan, you are here. You are so afraid of death that you survived until now. I will be safer if I go with you." King Pingshan's face darkened. Li Wuji did not care, and said again, "The human king misses you very much. I heard that you moved, so I am reluctant to let you go." King Pingshan was helpless. This crazy bull, what is he talking about? How dare he talk nonsense at this time? As he spoke, a beetle exploded in front of them, and a 6-petal lotus exploded, causing many void cracks nearby to shatter. "Retreat." Hayu shouted and quickly retreated. The 6 broken cracks were mixed with other cracks, and he was at risk of dying. This place was too dangerous. Ping Shan almost stuck to Fang Ping, so he hurriedly retreated. Wherever Fang Ping retreated, he retreated, and Li Wuji had no one to rely on. At this moment, he chose to approach King Pingshan. There was no other reason, because King Pingshan was weak. When this guy encountered a crisis, he might not be as fast as Li Wuji, so he could die for him. Kaboom! The void nearby burst into a dazzling light, instantly turning into darkness. Outside the dark area, no one could use their mentality to explore, and their vision was blocked by the darkness. At this moment, they could only see those vague figures emerging in the void. Everyone memorized the area where there were 6 broken cracks. King Qian watched while transmitting his voice to Li Zhu. Do you think this dark crack zone is formed naturally or deliberately created by someone? They all surround the Myriad World's palace, and it doesn't seem to be formed naturally. Li Zhu replied, "This place is mysterious, maybe deliberately created by someone, and the others haven't said yet. At the critical moment, you and I can work together. Even the 4 inspectors can't do anything. I'm afraid the beginner martial realm powerhouses will come. It doesn't matter." Li Zhu transmitted his voice. "If they want to come, they can come. These people won't act rashly. It'll be too noisy. There are still 3 free origin powerhouses in the depths of the heavenly tomb. If they attract their attention, the beginner martial realm will also be in danger." After saying this, Li Zhu added, "That Taoist Niu from before. I've never seen him. God Ox Island's island master. Hua Ying's good friend. They weren't allies, but King Qian didn't mind talking about it." Li Zhu frowned slightly, looking at King Huai. His good friend? He was the king lord of the Tianji royal court, and King Huai was a true king of the royal court True King Palace in the past. He knew this guy quite well, but when did he get to know a peak emperor friend? God Ox Island. He had never heard of it. With some doubts, Li Zhu didn't say anything more. Could it be Fang Ping? Li Zhu thought to himself, and quickly comforted himself. Don't be paranoid. Fang Ping didn't receive any news this time, and there was information that Fang Ping seemed to be injured, which was also the reason suppressing Heavenly King broke the 3 gates. Fang Ping had just encountered danger, and now he appeared. Wang Jinyang had just returned to the human race, and it was said that he was discussing some important matters with Fang Ping. Fang Ping wouldn't leave so soon, would he? Li Zhu looked at the dark zone again, raising his eyebrows slightly, feeling a little uneasy. It wasn't good to think that every person he saw was Fang Ping. It shouldn't be Fang Ping. But if something happened to Hayu, and only Niu Meng is left in the Pathfinder team, or Li Wuji and Niu Meng, he might be Fang Ping. Li Zhu judged in his heart. Now, he would even be suspicious when he saw a stranger. Not only Niu Meng, but there were also a few people from Medicine God Island that he didn't know, and they were also among his suspects. Fang Ping appeared and disappeared unpredictably, and he was really not at ease. In the dark zone, Fang Ping grabbed hold of a true god from Medicine God Island. Medicine God Venerable Emperor hurriedly thanked him. "Thank you, Brother Niu." "You're welcome, brother." Fang Ping smiled and said, "It's just a matter of convenience. As the Celestial Pole Prince said, we haven't seen the opportunity yet, so there's no need for us to be too hostile toward each other. The fight for the opportunity is also up to those heavenly kings and saints. I only hope that I can break through to Saint this time." In front, Hayu still had some lingering fear. At this moment, she also said, "It's good that everyone is united. At this moment, less than 10 to 20% of the way has been traveled, and there are many dangers. Don't act rashly." Fang Ping nodded, looking simple and honest. King Pingshan said that he would kill these people. He wasn't too interested. They were all insignificant people. Even Haiyu was only a saint. Why should he make a move now and make the others vigilant? If Fong Ping didn't make a move, would the undying heavenly king be worthy of his identity? Who was he? The existence of the Emperor Slayer. Did he need to be sneaky to kill a saint? He had no face. If he wanted to do it, then he had to do it big. If he really did it, if he didn't kill a heavenly king, it would be a waste. A small character like Ping Shan obviously couldn't understand the thoughts of a big character like him. Fong Ping sighed in his heart. That was true. How could a sparrow and a swallow understand the ambition of a swan? Ping Shan's vision was too limited. As he thought about it, another crack exploded. Fong Ping hurriedly dodged and pulled another divine sect true god aside. That true god was also full of gratitude and hurriedly said, "Thank you, sir." "You're welcome, brother." Fong Ping smiled and said, "We're family, there's no need to be so polite." This time, the way everyone looked at Fong Ping was a little different. This person was simple and honest. Although the crack that had just exploded was not considered dangerous to him, it was not easy to want to save people at this time. There were very few such powerhouses in the three realms now. Next, there were still many dangers. Fong Ping's top-level venerable emperor strength was also fully displayed. The sea opened the way. Medicine god Venerable Emperor continued to be responsible for exploring the surroundings, while Fong Ping was responsible for the crack that exploded behind, saving people at any time. The few true gods were saved by him again and again. Even Li Wuji could not help but approach Fong Ping at this time. This venerable emperor was really reliable. His surname was Niao. Although he was not a demon, he was still considered family. Li Wuji was also a tactful person. After being saved by Fong Ping once, he immediately tried to get close to him. "Island Master Niao and my water clan are also family. My elder ancestor has just achieved Saint Realm not long ago. If Island Master Niao wants to break through, you can share some of my elder ancestor's experience. My elder ancestor is also Emperor Nan's disciple." This guy spared no effort in selling Water Clan. Anyway, he did not have to pay the price. Fong Ping did not find it noisy. He smiled and nodded, continuing to work diligently. The few of them went deeper and deeper. At this moment, the danger was also increasing. The crack exploded again. This time, medicine god Venerable Emperor almost did not dodge it. Fong Ping hurriedly pulled medicine god Venerable Emperor aside. Medicine god Venerable Emperor had a lingering fear and hurriedly thanked him. Just now, a crack had sliced past his head, almost cutting his head off. Fortunately, Niao Meng pulled him, avoiding the danger. "Fellow Niao, I will never forget the kindness of saving my life." Fong Ping was still simple and honest. He smiled and said, "We are just helping each other. If something happens to you, we don't have Medicine God Island's investigative means. Wouldn't it be more dangerous?" In front, Haiyu sighed again. Fellow Niao Meng saw it clearly. "It is indeed so. I was worried that you guys would not get along and lose your lives. Now, I am much more relaxed." Encountering a group of sensible powerhouses, he was also much more at ease. King Pingshan lowered his head, a strange look in his eyes. What was Fong Ping trying to do? Selling his honest and loyal persona, did he think it was not enough to enter the divine sect? He also wanted to raise the flag and become the boss. Everyone continued to move forward. Until now, no one had died. They were almost halfway through the road. The myriad world's palace in front could already be seen more clearly. As for Fong Ping, he continued to do his own thing, not daring to slack off. In this way, the 5 true gods surrounded him, thinking that he was too reliable. Fong Ping remained calm. He had no intention of subduing these people. The key was still to integrate into them. The more these people believed in him, the easier it was for him to hide. He wanted to see if there was a chance to kill a few heavenly kings. Everyone continued to move forward. After walking for a while, they could already see a long staircase. Seeing this, Medicine God Empyrean said, happily, "Almost there." Having said that, Medicine God Empyrean's voice suddenly rang in Fong Ping's ears. "Fellow Niomeng, don't go up the staircase without permission later. It is very dangerous. Just follow me." Fong Ping was a little surprised, but he still nodded indiscernibly. Medicine God Island. This was someone from the Emperor God's bloodline. And this time, the leader was actually Heavenly King Yi, who was also the Emperor God's chief. It seemed that Medicine God Island did know something, inadvertently planted a willow tree. Fong Ping was surprised. "I just saved you, and you want to repay me?" This was a little interesting. What dangers were there in this myriad world's palace? Medicine God Empyrean did not say much, and Fong Ping did not ask, but he was more attentive. He was a good person, and good people did not ask for anything in return. Saving a few poor true gods was also what he should do. Just like that, along the way they encountered many dangers, but Medicine God Empyrean had many tricks up his sleeves, and Sea Area was also strong enough. They encountered the crack of breaking 6 a few times, but it was either avoided or destroyed by Sea Area and Fong Ping's joint forces. In this way, the group of people actually stepped onto the staircase without any surprises or danger. The moment they stepped on the staircase, Medicine God Empyrean suddenly breathed a sigh of relief, not the relief of surviving a disaster, but full of confidence, as if there would no longer be any danger. If he had not said that before, Fong Ping might not have noticed. But Fong Ping, who had been staring at him, had this feeling. This guy really relaxed completely. At this moment, Fong Ping heard the voice of the cat. "Liar! I think I smell a familiar smell." As soon as these words came out, Fong Ping's heart stirred slightly. There was someone in the myriad world's palace. Chapter 1284. A familiar smell. Fong Ping's heart skipped a beat. There was someone here? At this moment, Fong Ping was standing on the steps, looking upward. The grand hall was incomparably huge. There was also a sense of oppression. There were many steps, one after another. Fong Ping did a quick count. There were probably more than 1,000 steps. The myriad world's palace was only at the top of the stairs. At this moment, the Medicine God Venerable Emperor said, "Don't walk around carelessly. This is the myriad world's palace. In the past, only emperors and above were qualified to come to the heavenly court." Li Wuji asked curiously, "What about Fei Zun? Are those who are not venerable sovereigns qualified to come to the celestial court?" Medicine God the Arch smiled faintly and said, "The Arch, to come here, you need to walk. Only sages and heavenly kings could fly in." Hai Yu also looked at the stairs for a while, feeling a little absent-minded. After a while, he said, "I've been here before. I was only a venerable sovereign at that time. I was an independent cultivator, venerable sovereign, an overseas independent cultivator. I've only been here once. Things are still the same, but people have changed. In the past, he had been an emperor-level master. However, he had only been to the myriad world's palace once in his life." Hai Yu suddenly chuckled and said, "I will never forget that time." The Medicine God Imperial Venerable Emperor was also an ancient venerable emperor. When he heard this, he said softly, "Fellow Taoist Hai Yu, did you come here that time?" "Not bad." Hai Yu's eyes were dazed as she said, "It was that time." Everyone looked at them. Fong Ping had some guesses, but he did not say anything. As expected, the Medicine God Venerable Emperor smiled and said, "I know we were all insignificant people that time, so we didn't dare to look around. So fellow Taoist was also there that day. Seeing that Fang Ping did not understand, the medicine god Venerable Emperor sighed. It's the day the immortal origin is built, and the day the 9 emperors celebrate. He summoned the emperors of the 3 realms for a banquet. But who would have thought that conflict would break out that day? Heaven Darch John turned hostile on the spot and pointed an arrow at the emperors. Hayu sighed. Sigh, that was also the cause of Heaven Darch John's calamity. The medicine god Venerable Emperor was speechless. He shook his head and said, perhaps. Not many years after the banquet ended, news of Jean Tiendi's death spread. Celestial Larch Batian was so furious that he killed his way into the heavenly court. A great battle broke out on that very day. After that was the war that engulfed the 3 realms. Both of them sighed endlessly. The upheaval of the 3 dimensions was caused by that banquet. It was also the beginning of chaos. Li Wuji was confused. Why did they start a conflict all of a sudden? I don't know much about heavenly battle, Arch, but I do know a thing or two about the reincarnation of heavenly battle Arch in the human race. He has a gentle personality, and according to some ancient records, heavenly battle Arch isn't arrogant. He's not a human king, either. How could a war break out so easily? Fang Ping glanced at it. Unremarkable force. You're amazing. As expected of the Ox tribe. What do you mean by not being a sovereign personage? So you're saying that if it were me, I would have done it? Obviously, Li Wuji did not care about this. Fang Ping was not here, so what was the big deal about slandering him? Moreover, it was the truth. Hayu smiled and did not continue speaking. A wave of energy shot out, and it quickly shattered, exploding with resplendent light. However, the energy was not very strong, and it was to inform the other side that they had arrived. After informing them, Hayu sighed and said, actually, we don't really know why the conflict broke out that day. We were just small characters in the past, sitting at the end of the table while the big shots talked in front of us. Originally, the 9 emperors wanted to celebrate the establishment of the immortal source. The rules of the 3 realms were clear, and humans and immortals were separated. We don't know what they talked about. In short, from the beginning, the 4 emperors did not look too good. Heavenly Emperor Jean did not notice anything, but Celestial Emperor Batian was obviously unhappy. Celestial Emperor Batian was considered kind, and his unhappiness was shown on his face. However, I didn't expect that the one who fell out was not Celestial Emperor Batian, but Heavenly Emperor Jean. Medicine God Darch added, actually, we didn't expect this to happen that day. The 4 emperors actually participated in the establishment of the immortal source. Why did they fall out? It was really surprising. Later on, the outside world said that it was because the 3 sects were blocking the way and the human world was destroyed, but it might not be because of this. The human world destroyed the human world. That day, no one really said that they wanted to completely destroy the human world. The immortal source absorbed a large amount of energy from the human world, and the spiritual energy was exhausted, but it was only to restrict the human world. Back then, there were still many martial artists in the human world who walked the path of beginner martial arts. The 9 emperors mainly wanted to destroy the beginner martial arts orthodoxy. Beginner martial arts use up more energy, especially after the golden body realm. The consumption will increase. When the spiritual energy in the human world is exhausted, beginner martial artists will be destroyed, and they have no choice but to cultivate the origin. This should be the 9 emperors' original intention. Fang Ping was surprised. This was the first time he heard someone say this. The immortal source was not to destroy the law. Thinking about it carefully, it seemed to be true. If it was not for the Emperor's sword absorbing the spiritual energy returned by the immortal source, perhaps the human world would really continue to develop like this. Although the energy was not too abundant, it was enough to sustain some people's cultivation. After the golden body reached the advanced stage, it was difficult to improve further. At this moment, even if they cultivated the beginner martial arts path, they might give up and walk on the origin path again. If that was the case, it was understandable why energy was also extracted back then. To destroy the beginner martial arts, it was not to destroy completely, but to make the beginner martial arts disappear from the human world and the land realm. Back then, a lot of the energy in the land realm was also extracted. For the powerhouses who had walked on the origin path and defeated beginner martial arts, this should be worth doing. The 9 emperors and 4 emperors. Celestial Emperor Reverse did not know, but the other 3 celestial emperors were all on the origin path. Previously, there seemed to be nothing wrong with their participation in the immortal source plan. Then why did they fall out later? Fong Ping pondered in his heart. Could it be because of the figure deep in the origin, resurrection, or control, or something else? The 4 emperors might not know before, but they found out later. So, Celestial Emperor Reverse? There was an unforeseen event in the immortal source plan, which led to the war later. This unforeseen event, is it referring to that? Although Fong Ping had doubts in his heart, he could not care less at this moment. He transmitted his voice to the cat, the aura of an acquaintance. Who is it? I don't remember. Fong Ping almost died of anger. It was like this every time, dropping the ball halfway. Think carefully. The cat hiding in his arms wrinkled its tiger face and began to recall. As it thought, it felt like dozing off. Fong Ping secretly pinched its head. Sleep? Sleep your head. The cat was depressed. It could only recall again. After a while, it said uncertainly, "Anyway, I've seen it before. It shouldn't be too powerful in the past, or else I would remember it. But now, it seems to be much more powerful." Food? Fong Ping asked. The cat suddenly remembered something and hurriedly transmitted its voice. "Liar, I think I remember. You said food. I remember. It's it. No, it's it. I've never eaten it before." The cat spoke incoherently. Fong Ping hurriedly said, "Slow down. Who is it?" "It's that tree. It should be." But the Emperor God, old man, didn't allow me to go near it. When I went to 9th heaven to steal food, the food was also from the outside. I can't go inside, but I want to eat it. I've smelled it before. No wonder I don't remember. It's it. It's the tree that the Emperor God Old Man has been planting. Tree. Fong Ping was stunned. He thought of the conversation with the cat tree and heavenly wood that day. In the 3 realms, this time, there might be a monster plant that was going to become an emperor. Heavenly wood was the #1 tree in the celestial court. Logically, it had the highest probability of becoming an emperor. However, Heavenly Wood said that it was not worried about other monster plants, but the one cultivated by the Emperor God. It was said that in the past, the Emperor God wanted to cultivate a powerful monster plant, so he conducted experiments everywhere. The Emperor God was not the only one who loved to research. The Beast Emperor also studied Dragon Morph. Dragon Morph was actually formed by the combination of monster plants and the Beast Emperor's blood essence. Later, the Emperor God took away Dragon Morph because of this. The reason why Heavenly Wood could become a spirit was also related to the Emperor God. The Emperor God often irrigated Heavenly Wood and experimented with some of his potions, all to stimulate the growth of monster plants. Fong Ping was a little surprised. The Emperor God planted that monster plant in the Myriad Realms Palace. What was its strength? Why was it here? The Emperor God had been here before. Didn't they say that other than the Demon Emperor, no one else had been here before? Could this place be related to the Emperor God? Fang Ping was even more confused. He transmitted his voice. I didn't sense anything. What is the strength of this tree? I don't know. The cat was afraid that Fang Ping would pinch it again, so it said immediately, "Anyway, it's at least a heavenly king. It's much stronger than before. I think it smells better than the heavenly wood old man. It's so fragrant. I want to eat it." As it said that, it was almost drooling. It had never eaten a heavenly king monster plant's fruit, nor had it drunk a heavenly king drink. It wanted to eat, it wanted to drink. Liar! You said before that you would give me an emperor-level fruit. And drink! The cat raised its mouth miserably. After following the liar, it had eaten overlord-level monsters, saint-level monsters, and saint-level fruits and drinks. Among the heavenly king monsters, it had not eaten sea guardian and dragon transformation yet. Big Dog too, but Big Dog was not considered a monster, so forget it. Anyway, the cat had not eaten a heavenly king monster. In ancient times, it had not eaten it either. No matter how much Spirit Emperor doted on it, he would not go out of his way to kill a heavenly king monster for it. That would make the beast Emperor explode. Moreover, only Sea Guardian had reached heavenly king. In ancient times, there was not even a saint-level tree. Fang Ping transmitted his voice. No hurry. Whether it's an enemy or a friend, it can eat and drink. Kill the enemy directly. If it's a friend, it's only right to give it a taste. Fang Ping was not in a hurry. Instead, he asked again, "Heavenly King, what level of Heavenly King is it?" "I don't know. I can only smell it, but I can't see the tree." Fang Ping raised his head and looked at the main hall. Could it be that the tree was hidden here? A Heavenly King monster plant was hiding here. What was it trying to do? Did Heavenly King E know? It was very likely that he knew. The medicine god Venerable the Arch was confident. Did he also know that a Heavenly King monster plant was hidden here? Was a Heavenly King monster plant stronger than ordinary Heavenly Kings? Fang Ping knew nothing about all this. He had never encountered a monster plant of this level. He did not know what it was capable of. A Heavenly King monster plant was hiding here. Fang Ping suppressed his thoughts and looked at the dark area. At this moment, the second wave of people had begun to move. Fang Ping could not see it clearly. Through the countless cracks, he could only see many people coming. Luan and Heavenly King Yi should be there. Fang Ping was considering if he should make a move. If he did not make a move, he would not have a chance when these people arrived. If he made a move, Luan and Heaven's Fate had no grudge. In the end, only Heavenly King Yi, Tianji, and King Zhen could be killed. Fang Ping actually wanted to kill Li Zhu and King Qian. Fang Ping frowned. He suppressed his desire to destroy the dark area with one blow and chose not to make a move. Heavenly King Yi might have a big plan. Perhaps he wanted to plot against Li Zhu and King Qian. He might be able to follow and take advantage of it. Fang Ping quietly refined the saint token in his hand. This was also a trump card that could kill Tianbai. If the saint wanted to run, it would be difficult for him to kill him. Especially now, his divine weapon was destroyed. Actually, severing path was not as easy as before. How strong is this hidden demon plant? Is this a trap set up by Emperor God? What is Emperor God trying to do? Fang Ping snorted. He wanted to stop whatever the Emperor wanted to do. After all, he had a bad impression of the Emperor. Even though Emperor God and Emperor of Heaven Reverse had performed well and did not oppress them too much, Fang Ping did not trust them. At the same time, in the dark void, Sky Arm tore open the void and hid in it, protecting Iron Head. Iron Head was confused. Are we going to wait? Yes. Sky Arm looked to the end of the darkness, to the place that was glowing with light, the myriad world's palace. He seemed to be reminiscing and lost. That is the Myriad Worlds Palace, the place where the celestial court holds court. It has been here since a long time ago. Back then, when the creator of the origin was still alive, it was already here. I have been there before, until the 9 sovereigns proved their Tao and killed many of my friends. Since then, I have never been there again. Oh, Skyarm was powerless. Was this his reaction? Skyarm continued. I sense the seed's aura. It is in the Myriad Worlds Palace. I don't know if it was done by the emperors or that person back then. Maybe the seed was lured here. It's here? Li Hansong was excited. Are we going to rob it? Don't think too much. Skyarm snorted. 10 heavenly kings were here. They were courting death. Even though he was a powerhouse, he could not defeat 10 heavenly kings, not to mention that 4 of them had broken 7. With such strength, they could defeat him. The seed, even if it was here back then, it might not be here now, but it must have appeared here before. If it did, then we have a chance to capture the shadow of the seed. Skyarm thought about it and said, I will sneak in with you later. Once there is a chance, I will perform the beginner martial world and send you to find the seed. Boy, don't waste this old man's painstaking efforts. I know, Li Hansong readily agreed, but he was still a little uneasy. Did they come here to look for seeds as well? If so, I am no match for them. Not necessarily. This Myriad Worlds Palace might have some problems. There might be something else. Skyarm did not dare to use his vision to scan the Myriad Worlds Palace. He stared at the palace from afar and thought for a while. Then he looked at the dark area surrounding the palace like a jade belt. This place might have been set up by someone to prevent people from entering. To be able to set up such a place, it should be the emperors. There is a high chance that emperors have been here before, and it was after the battle, not before. Li Hansong rolled his eyes. Nonsense. It must have been after the battle. The Myriad Worlds Palace must have been in the heavenly court before. The heavenly court had not been destroyed yet, so how could there be so many void cracks? Skyarm seemed to know what he was thinking and said, this means that the people who came here might not have been restricted. The only emperors who could still be dispatched after the battle are God Emperor and Do. Kid, do you understand what I am saying? He was not talking nonsense. He was telling him that this place might have been set up by these 2 powerhouses. This time, Li Hansong finally understood. He nodded slightly. Then when do we go in? We will go in another direction and enter at the same time as Li Zhu and the others. This way, they won't dare to attack the void and create more cracks. Otherwise, I am worried that they will purposely break the void to prevent others from entering. Senior is wise. Li Hansong flattered Skyarm. Skyarm enjoyed it. Although it was silly, it was rare for a fool to flatter him. He accepted it. Ha ha ha, so easy. Laughter came. Chaotic Heavenly King stepped on the stairs and laughed. Too easy. Then he turned around and laughed. Li Zhu, King Qian, don't come. I won't let you in. As he finished, he was about to attack the void. Heavenly King Yi saw this and quickly said, Chaotic, calm down. This isn't the end. We won't be able to find the secret place with just the few of us. Are you kidding me? I didn't mean that. At this moment, Tianji and King Zhen frowned and looked at Chaotic Heavenly King. This guy really turned his back on them. First, he attacked and didn't let Li Zhu and the others come over. At this moment, Li Zhu and the others didn't dare to come over. It was too dangerous. This bastard Chaotic Heavenly King was really unreliable. He turned his back on them, just like that. Chaotic Heavenly King snorted and bared his teeth. Fine, I will give you a chance. But if you don't want me to attack, hurry up and give me a divine weapon. Everyone was tired. You are too much. Not giving. Chaotic Heavenly King was furious. He picked up his sword and was about to slash at the other side. Heavenly King hurriedly stopped him. His expression was extremely ugly. This guy is really like a human king, Li Wuji discussed softly. He even sealed the void around him and chatted with King Pingshan. King Pingshan's face twitched. Li Wuji didn't care and continued. See, if a human king was here, he would probably do the same. Even more ruthless. Even a divine weapon might not be enough. King Pingshan looked at it sympathetically. You're going to be unlucky. This isn't the first time you've insulted Fang Ping. Do you really think you can do whatever you want when he's not here? No, it's just the truth. But sometimes the truth shouldn't be said. This stupid bull was really courting death. Even if Fang Ping did not kill it, he might chop some beef and bring it back to eat. Just as King Pingshan was thinking about this, Fang Ping telepathically said to the cat, "This time we got the Heavenly King drink. Let's eat some true god beef. It should taste good. It's very fresh and tender. The meat isn't old." The cat telepathically said suspiciously, "Is the true god beef delicious? It's not tender enough. It's okay. I'm good at cooking. It's even better than the Heavenly King beef." Then we have to eat. The cat was hungry. It wanted to eat. The tiger head popped out and took a look at Li Wuji. It was this true god beef, right? Just one look, Li Wuji's expression suddenly changed. Danger. The danger of being eaten. It had this feeling before. It was that day when they went to Magic City. It had this feeling. It was targeted by a cat, so it had a sense of danger. Today, it had this feeling again. Li Wuji's face was twisted. Fang Ping was here? The cat was here? Where was he? This was too scary. Did both of them come here? Li Wuji glanced around. There weren't many people on the platform. It looked carefully one by one. Soon, Li Wuji's eyes narrowed. Niu Meng. It immediately thought of the person who was trying to get close to him. He was not too familiar with this person. He was actually quite familiar with the people from Medicine God Island. It was fine if he did not think about it. Now that he thought about it, Li Wuji's heart gradually overlapped with the two, and he was scared out of his wits. Damn, it was him. No wonder he felt a sense of danger. He had been heard when he was talking bad about him. Li Wuji's tone changed, and he continued the previous topic. But the King of Man did this for the sake of the human race. It's different from this fellow. It's for the sake of the race. Moreover, the King of Man wins every time. This one doesn't seem to have succeeded. He was talking about Wan. Although Wan was not stingy, he did not seem to have gained any big advantage. Li Wuji looked down on him first. Wan did not hear him. They were still arguing. In the end, Heavenly Kingy said helplessly, "How about this if we enter the secret place and find treasures? Fellow Wan can choose one more. How about that?" "Choose one more? Aren't they all mine?" Wan's face darkened. He laughed and said, "I was just saying. It's a deal. I want one more. If you don't, I will settle the score with you. Don't think you can hide in Medicine God Island. If you don't, I will not let you off." Heavenly King smiled bitterly. He did not say much. Then he unleashed his energy, indicating that the other side had settled it. The other side was just about to come over. Wan did not wait for them and walked up the stairs. He was going to Myriad World's palace. No, Heavenly King had just said this, and the moment Wan stepped on the stairs, the heaven and earth suddenly shook. Myriad World's palace shook violently. Heavenly King Yi's head swelled. He roared, "Come here quickly. The void nearby is about to collapse. Hurry!" At this moment, Li Zhu and King Qian both cursed. Rumble! With a loud explosion, a true immortal died instantly. The void cracks were exploding. It would have been better if he had just attacked in the chaos. Now, There were explosions all around him. Juan was also confused. What happened? I didn't do it. Heavenly King E was too lazy to say anything. He was a little annoyed that he had forgotten to stop this guy. At this moment, seeing Juan's indignant face, Heavenly King E had to say, "Don't go anymore. Don't go anywhere. Myriad World's palace is not in the real world. It is an intersection point of the real universe, the nine heavens, and the source universe. Here, the energy imbalance can easily cause the void to collapse. Don't move anymore." He was also helpless. He quickly said, "Wait for Li Zhu and the others to arrive. Enter immediately. Otherwise, Myriad World's palace may disappear from the real universe." While he was talking, Fang Ping was a little shocked. This place was not in the real universe. This was an intersection point of myriad worlds. The three realms, the nine heavens, and the source universe. This place was called Myriad World's Palace. Was this name related to these things? Or was it just a coincidence? While he was still thinking, over there, in the dark void, countless cracks burst. Li Zhu and King Qian were roaring, so angry that they wanted to vomit blood. Bastard! Didn't they say they had a deal? Why did this happen again? Several powerhouses, along with the others, quickly broke through the void. At this moment, they couldn't care about anything else. At the same time, at the core of the heavenly tomb, Heavenly Hound looked in that direction and said curiously, "Such a big commotion. What are these guys doing? I'll go take a look." Heavenly Hound, before Tian Chen finished speaking, Heavenly Hound ran away to see what was going on. Just as Heavenly Hound ran away, Sherpa was also surprised. That place. Why does it feel like? It feels like I can communicate with the source. Sherpa, Buzz. Sherpa ran away. Tian Chen almost died of anger. These two bastards. Three realms. Demon Court. Sea Guardian suddenly looked at the deep sea, and his expression changed slightly. Heavenly Tomb Riot. Divine Sect. King Kuan frowned. So fast, what did it trigger? Earth. Heavenly King Zhen and God Creation Envoy quickly appeared above the sea of bitterness. The two of them looked at each other. Heavenly King Zhen frowned and said, "It's a bit like the world behind the door." "No." God Creation Envoy frowned. "The chaotic aura is mixed with many things. Could it be World Point?" "What? It's just a gathering point for a few realms. This place appeared in the past as well. It disappeared in a flash and wasn't of much use. But this time, it seems a little different." As he spoke, the God Creation Envoy hurriedly said, "Stay here, I'll go take a look." "You go. Cut the crap, let's go." The God Creation Envoy quickly ran over. Interesting. It was indeed a sign of chaos in the world. Even this kind of connection point between the various worlds had appeared. For a time, all the experts ran towards the heavenly tomb. P.S. I'm begging for a monthly ticket. It's already the end of the month. If I don't vote, it'll be a waste. Chapter 1285. In front of Myriad World's palace, explosions rang out incessantly. Outside, in the dark crack zone, Li Zhu roared. King Qian and the other heavenly kings were the same. This scammer, moving around without any reason, was troublesome. On the stairs, Luan was innocent, but at the same time, he didn't care. Anyway, it had nothing to do with him. Whether they died or not, what did it have to do with him? Luan didn't move anymore. He sat on the stairs and looked at the experts struggling in the dark crack, the weak falling. He asked curiously, "I only took one step. How did this thing explode?" He was still curious. He didn't do anything. Why did it explode? If it exploded, then so be it. Li Zhu and the others insisted on coming over. He was helpless too. They couldn't do anything even if they roared. Who asked them to come? At the side, Heavenly King Yi's expression wasn't too good. Hearing his sarcastic remarks, he didn't care. Worried that he would continue, he said in a low voice, "Myriad Worlds Palace is in a relatively balanced zone. It can be considered a boundary point. You just stepped on the stairs and your power isn't balanced enough, causing the power here to be unbalanced. Originally, those who aren't heavenly kings wouldn't be affected too much. Even heavenly kings are the same." As he spoke, he looked at Luan and frowned. "Looks like Taoist Luan is about to touch the door. It must be that the door's power is too biased, causing the power to be unbalanced." At this moment, he suddenly thought of something. Myriad Worlds Palace wouldn't be so easily unbalanced. But the moment Luan stepped on it, he instantly lost his balance. This meant that one of his powers was too strong, and it must have drawn the void door, causing the power to be greatly unbalanced. As he said this, everyone looked at Luan. Luan had an indifferent expression as he laughed. "I haven't broken 8 yet. Even if I did, a void door is nothing." Luan curled his lips and said casually, "There are many who have broken 8 now. Those below are all trash. I won't be trash. This time, I must break 8. In other words, he killed a bunch of people. Heavenly King, he wasn't in the mood to argue with him. This guy was about to break 8, which was quite scary. If he succeeded, Luan would be the first expert to break 8 after Heaven Realm was destroyed. Demon Emperor and Li Zhu were also people after Heaven Realm was destroyed, but they didn't succeed. As for Chaotic, he was indeed the main character of that era. Being able to cultivate to this level, Luan wasn't an idiot. Although Heavenly King, he didn't explain it clearly, Luan soon understood. Carrying the huge sword on his shoulder, Luan asked curiously, "World points. Are there really places where multiple powers intersect?" "So you're saying that the 3 realms are one entity, including the 9 heavens and the source world. They're all in this universe, but there's a separation of power?" Luan didn't care about the lives of others. He looked at the dark sky and muttered, "This place is actually a boundary point. If there's a boundary point, does it mean that there's actually a boundary point for origin, chi, blood, and spiritual consciousness? When these 3 are in harmony, this is origin power. Or is it something even stronger than origin power?" Luan furrowed his brows and continued, "Return to 1, breaking the 8 return to 1, breaking the 3 gates, the gate of spiritual sense and the gate of chi and blood. These can be considered as 2 types of powers. As for the gate of life, it provided life energy. Why would it provide life energy? Was it purely for the sake of strengthening his body and strengthening his chi and blood? Not necessarily. Everyone was listening to him. After all, Luan was one of the top experts in the world. Although he looked unreliable at times, it didn't mean that his knowledge of martial arts was lacking. Luan continued, "So you're saying that breaking the gate of life to strengthen the body might not be for anything else but to accommodate the origin power, and to return the origin power to 1? Return to one's body?" Luan asked curiously. "I want to know, if the guy who broke the gate of life first broke the gate of life, would the increase in their origin power decrease even faster?" Heavenly King, he tilted his head and looked at him. At this moment, he didn't care about the others and frowned slightly. Soon, Heavenly King, he said in a deep voice, "Currently, only Zhen and Hongkuan have broken the gate of life. The others should have broken the other gates. And the God Creation Envoy did not break the gate of life." Luan nodded slightly and said quickly, "So if we kill these 2 guys, we might be able to find out the details and see if breaking the gate of life would greatly weaken the increase in origin power. If so, it means that the final return to 1 is actually not the combination of 2 powers, but the combination of 3 powers. Also, if that's the case, if there's a problem with the origin, the guy with the gate of life shattered will actually be stronger than the others. right? Heavenly King Yi shook his head. I don't know. I haven't broken past 8 either. That's true, you piece of trash. You've cultivated for so many years, yet you still haven't broken through the 7th level. You really don't understand. These words made many people embarrassed. King Jen didn't make a sound. Heaven's Fate also looked up at the sky. Next to Li Wuji, his patriarch, Shui Li, was also there. At this moment, the water buffalo was calm and composed, as if he hadn't heard anything. In terms of age, even Heavenly King Yi was not necessarily older than it. The medicine god Emperor smiled bitterly. He could not be considered very old, but from the fact that he had participated in the Celestial Origin Convention, it was known that he had become a venerable emperor 8,000 years ago. Even if he had only been a few thousand years old back then, he was now more than 10,000 years old. Luan was born in a chaotic era. He was less than 8,000 years old. Luan was almost 8 years old, but he was still a venerable sovereign. These people were silent. Mediocre Strength glanced around and suddenly muttered, "The human king has only cultivated for 21 years. No, I cultivated for 3 years." He was flattering Fang Ping. As for offending Luan, Mediocre Strength wasn't too worried. The patriarch was here. Although he couldn't defeat Luan, he didn't do anything. Fang Ping was here too. If he got beaten up by Luan because of his flattery, he didn't know if Fang Ping would save him. If he didn't save him, he would run away quickly. Otherwise, he would be beaten to death by Luan. He was risking his life to flatter Fang Ping. Mediocre Strength was risking his life to flatter Fang Ping. What happened before should be considered settled, right? Luan glanced at him. He was too lazy to argue with a small true god. What the small true god said was the truth. Although Luan was arrogant and domineering, he knew himself and dared to accept reality. He laughed and said, "Fang Ping's cultivation is indeed fast. However, that kid has a lot of problems. If I break past 8, then I break past 8. That kid, he might not be the one breaking past 8. He might just end up helping someone else." Fang Ping didn't say a word. It wasn't strange that Luan and the others noticed something. At his level, if he only knew how to be reckless, he wouldn't have lived until now. As they were talking, Li Zhu growled in the dark crevice. A big cauldron appeared. As soon as this cauldron appeared, it shocked the void. Many crevices were flattened. Thousand Worlds Cauldron. Li Zhu brought the weapon used by the palm seal. King Qian also threw a big seal in his hand. Heavenly King Seal. Both of them were doing their best. They had broken past 7, so it wasn't too dangerous. However, the true gods and venerable emperors they brought along were in danger. Both of them were doing their best to protect these people. The other 3 heavenly kings also attacked. With the help of the 5 heavenly kings, the rioting crevice finally calmed down a little. Luan chuckled. If there's a riot now, the heavenly kings might die. Celestial Fate, go and do it. Celestial Fate was speechless. Am I stupid? I've only broken past 6. If a broken past 7 escapes alive, won't I die? Why don't you do it yourself? Although Luan said it like that, Heavenly King Yi was extremely vigilant. He was really afraid that something like that would happen. He said hurriedly, "We need their strength to enter the Myriad Worlds Palace. Otherwise, we can't enter at all." Luan Heavenly King ignored him. He was just saying it. He didn't want to kill those weaklings. Even if he killed a few weak heavenly kings, a broken past 7 would probably fight him to the death. At this moment, a roar exploded in another direction. Heavenly King Yi's eyes moved. He quickly looked in that direction. It was a little far away. It was almost behind them. However, Heavenly King Yi still said in a low voice, "There's someone else, at least a broken past 7. Who's coming?" There was someone over there. One heavenly king laughed. Who cares? It's more fun when there are more people. When there are more experts, we can only take the good stuff if we kill one. Heavenly King E snorted. He felt a headache coming. It was fine if a broken past 7 came, but if a broken past 8 came, it would be troublesome. At this moment, Heavenly King E suddenly yelled, "It's best not to enter this place. 3 gates haven't been broken. The power is too biased. If we're not careful, the boundary point will be broken and we'll die here." A broken past 8 expert had broken 3 gates. The power imbalance was a little serious. At this connecting point, it was easy to lose a great deal of power and die directly. No one answered. It was unknown if there was a broken past 8 hiding in the dark. Heavenly King, he couldn't care so much. He urged again, "Kingly, hurry up." At this moment, the Myriad Worlds Palace was already shaking. If they didn't come, this place might shatter. Li Zhu and King Qian roared. They tore through the air and came. Lotus flowers bloomed. It was exceptionally beautiful. However, such beauty wasn't something everyone could enjoy. Li Zhu and King Qian were strong, but even they faced great danger. Sometimes they couldn't even stop it. Some true gods were swallowed by the darkness without even a splash. Blood rain gradually descended. Before entering the Myriad Worlds Palace, many people had died. The true heaven grave was much more dangerous than the fake heaven grave. At this moment, the experts who came first were all solemn. They hadn't even seen the fortuitous opportunity, and so many people had died. Sometimes, some people wondered if it was all worth it. Even Li Wuji didn't make a sound. The weakest was a true god. The experts that the 3 realms had accumulated for so many years were dying one after another. More and more people were dying. They didn't know how long they could live. The 3 realms was much more dangerous than it was tens of thousands of years ago. The elites that had been accumulated for tens of thousands of years had died for nothing. As everyone looked at each other with complicated expressions, the void shattered with a rumble. Li Zhu, King Qian, and the others stepped up the stairs in embarrassment. Behind them, many of the experts they had brought had died. On the divine sex side, there were 20 true gods, but now there were only 14 left. Including Fang Ping and 4 venerable emperors, there was 1 less. The saints weren't dead. They were all in a sorry state. In this moment, 6 true gods and 1 venerable emperor had died. King Qian's face was extremely gloomy. They hadn't seen anything, and so many people had died. This kind of loss was hard to bear. King Qian glanced at Luan. Luan was sitting casually. Seeing this, he said maliciously, "What? Why are you looking at me? Are you looking for trouble? Last time, your thigh bone was too weak and was smashed by the human emperor's sword. Do you want to borrow your skull?" King Qian's face was as gloomy as water. He said coldly, "Luan, do you really think I can't do anything to you? Then let's try. What's wrong with trying?" King Qian was also full of anger. He directly took out the Heavenly King's seal and blasted it over. Behind him, King Zhen was silent. He also attacked with his palm. Tian Bai instantly recalled the Heavenly King's seal. Yuan Gang and the others frowned slightly and didn't attack. However, they also surrounded Luan. They were all full of anger, but Luan acted as if nothing had happened. She even provoked King Qian. King Qian couldn't bear it anymore. Heavenly King Yi's face was also very ugly. Looking at the void shaking and the dark area outside still exploding, he shouted in a low voice, "Stop! Quickly break the void and turn the outer area into a dead land. Enter Myriad Worlds Palace immediately. If we don't enter, Myriad Worlds Palace will disappear." No one paid attention to what he said before. When he said that Myriad World's palace was going to disappear. Everyone actually felt it. Myriad World's palace was very solid before, but now it seemed to be dissipating. As soon as he said that, King Qian snorted coldly and stopped attacking. One sword broke King Zhen's palm. He slowly kept his sword and cursed, "Just you wait. Are you bullying me? This is too much. Wait until we enter. I'll show you. Don't give me a chance, or else I'll kill all of you." King Qian didn't say anything else. He gathered the people from the divine sect and quickly gathered together. On the other side, Li Zhu and the others did the same. A longbow appeared in Heavenly King Yi's hand. He shot an arrow into the dark area. Rumble! The lotus bloomed even more brilliantly. In the darkness, a muffled groan came. Heavenly King Yi glanced at it and snorted, "Attack together." Li Zhu and the others didn't say anything else. They all attacked. Rumble! The void exploded again. More and more cracks appeared. There was no sound in the darkness. Heavenly King Yi frowned and looked back at the disappearing Myriad World's palace. He didn't want to waste any more time. He shouted, "Pay attention, restrain your power, maintain the balance of spiritual consciousness, blood essence, and origin energy. Quickly climb up the stairs. Quick!" Everyone didn't dare to waste any more time. Although everyone's power wasn't balanced, there were many people. Some had strong mentality, some had strong blood essence. After a short period of shaking, with the help of the few heavenly kings, they quickly reached a relative balance. "Go up." Heavenly King Yi took the lead. As he quickly climbed up the stairs, he shouted, "The gate of Myriad World's palace is hard to open. Something happened to Myriad World's palace in the past. Now, it's sealed by the power of Myriad Worlds. Later, we need to maintain the balance of blood essence, spiritual consciousness, and life force. We need to reach the stage of breaking 8. Only then can we open the gate. King Li, King Zhen, and I will work together to gather life force to replace the gate of life. Chaos, Tianji, Sheng Hong will work together to gather life force to replace the gate of blood essence. King Qian, Yin Fei, Lu Shan, Tianji, gather spiritual consciousness energy to replace the gate of spiritual consciousness. Heavenly King Yi arranged one by one. The 10 heavenly kings worked together to replace the 3 paths. Only when the 3 paths were balanced could they open the gate of Myriad World's palace. It was very complicated. Fang Ping followed behind. He didn't speak, but he was suspicious. He transmitted his voice to Azure Cat. "Big Cat, if the gate of Myriad World's palace is so hard to open, how did the Emperor God's tree enter?" "I don't know. Maybe it was inside before." Fang Ping didn't ask anymore. Heavenly King Yi and the others gathered so many powerhouses probably to open this gate. Previously, there were 10 heavenly kings on the inspector's side. They probably didn't want to invite outsiders. But 6 of them were killed. They had to let outsiders join in. I wonder if there are any other difficulties. Fang Ping wasn't sure. At this moment, he wouldn't show himself easily. Heavenly King Yi and the others didn't know what was going on. It was better for him to take it easy and let King Qian and the others take the lead. Everyone quickly ran toward the gate above. Behind, Heavenly Arm groaned. His body was covered in blood. He grabbed Tai Tu and stepped on the flat ground below. His face was pale. Tai Tu asked worriedly, "Are you okay?" "I'm fine." Heavenly Arm looked at the people who had disappeared. He wanted to step forward, but quickly stopped. He frowned and said, "This is the boundary point." He heard what Heavenly King Yi said before. At this moment, Heavenly Arm frowned. "I can't step on this staircase alone. Otherwise, if I lose my balance, I might be teleported to an unknown area, and this staircase will collapse." Tai Tu was confused. He didn't understand. At this moment, there was another explosion outside. Woof! An angry roar resounded through heaven and earth. The next moment, an incomparably huge golden dog was wrapped in countless lotus flowers. Its body was rumbling, but it still forced its way through the void cracks on the periphery. At this moment, the golden dog couldn't bear so many cracks. It didn't feel good either. As it stepped on the air, it roared violently. When Heavenly Arms saw the Heavenly Hound, his expression changed slightly. Tai too didn't care. This was the Heavenly Hound. It looked really strong. Heavenly Arm brought him in, and was almost cut to death by the cracks. Yet the Heavenly Hound rushed over so domineeringly. The Heavenly Hound didn't care. It roared for a while, and quickly stepped on the staircase. Even though there were many cracks on its body, the Heavenly Hound still raised its head. It was incomparably domineering and didn't even look at Heavenly Arm. Just as it was about to step on the staircase, the Heavenly Hound also sensed that something was wrong. It turned around and was about to speak to Heavenly Arm. Before it could speak, the Heavenly Hound suddenly tore through the void with its tail between its legs and escaped into the crack. Heavenly Arm was stunned. "What's wrong?" "I didn't attack you either. Even if I did, I might not be a match for you. Why are you running?" This time, Heavenly Arm was also shocked. He thought that there was a strong enemy in the dark. It might even be an emperor. His expression was extremely solemn as he protected Li Hansong behind him. His chi and blood erupted, and his eyes shone brightly as he looked around. Vigilance and fear. There was an incomparably strong enemy in the dark. The Heavenly Hound, which had broken 8 times, was actually scared away. Unbelievable! Just as Heavenly Arm was on guard, the darkness shattered again. The Heavenly Hound appeared in a somewhat pathetic state. After entering the void a few times, it also couldn't take it anymore. At this moment, the Heavenly Hound's huge dog head had a ferocious expression. Heavenly Arm frowned and looked at the Heavenly Hound. This dog, was there something wrong with its head? It came back again. Was there no danger? Then why did it run, with its tail between its legs, just now? Heavenly Hound, just as he was about to ask, the Heavenly Hound roared, "Get lost!" It felt so embarrassed. Just now. Anyway, it suddenly felt an unusual aura just now. It was so scared that it ran away immediately. However, after running for a while, it felt that something was wrong and came back. At this moment, the Heavenly Hound roared, but it was looking at someone from the corner of its eyes. It was looking at the person who was looking at it foolishly. Celestial Arch of Batian? This thought surfaced in the Heavenly Hound's mind. Its eyes were like the universe, reflecting the surroundings, the heavens and the earth, the past, the present, and the future. This fellow was the Celestial Arch of Batian. Anyway, it had smelled that aura just now, which was why it ran away in fear. Back then, the Celestial Arch of Batian was delayed by it. He was so angry that he swore in the 3 realms that the next time he saw it, he would definitely smash its head. Back then, in order to escape, it deliberately ran out of the heavenly realm, which was why it did not participate in the final battle in the heavenly realm. Now, the Celestial Arch of Batian had returned. It left immediately after the reincarnation of the 3 emperors in the human realm. It had never heard of it, nor did it care about it. Even if there were some rumors, it did not care. But now, the Heavenly Hound looked at Li Hansong, a phantom image reflected in its eyes. Actually, Heavenly Arm had reflected it before, but it could not tell whether Heavenly Arm was in the past or the future. The Heavenly Hound also could not distinguish clearly. It was very blurry. But at this moment, the Heavenly Hound instantly understood. This guy might be that guy's reincarnation. Damn it. It was actually scared by a reincarnation until it ran away with its tail between its legs. Too embarrassing. It was a celestial arch who broke through the eighth realm. Heavenly Hound. Just as the Heavenly Hound was thinking about this, Heavenly Arm was also angry and said in a low voice, "What do you want to do?" The Heavenly Hound looked at him impatiently. "Scram! Heavenly Arm, back then, you did not attack me, so I can't be bothered to haggle with you. Are you courting death?" Humph! Heavenly Arm revealed a jade color and said coldly, "Try and see." Heavenly Hound, don't think that you are invincible just because you broke through the eighth realm. The Heavenly Hound was unwilling to waste time with him. It looked at Li Hansong and shouted overbearingly, "Leave this person to me." Ridiculous! On Heavenly Arm's arms, resplendent light erupted. What ferocious might! Did the Heavenly Hound really think that he was afraid of it? The Heavenly Hound bared its teeth, revealing its ferocity. After a while, it suddenly restrained itself and said coldly, "I won't kill him. Let him come over. I will give him something." Heavenly Arm snorted coldly. "Do you think I am an idiot?" "Heavenly Arm, do you really want to go against me? I said I won't kill him, so I naturally won't kill him." Heavenly Arm's eyes were unkind, but he did not speak. Behind him, Li Hansong saw the man and the dog were at daggers drawn, and he coughed dryly, "Senior, I think I should go over lest there is a conflict between you and this. Senior Dog, no." Heavenly Arm stopped him, and the Heavenly Hound said coldly, "Hurry up, I said I won't kill him." "Heavenly Arm, do you really want to force me to kill you?" At this moment, the outside shook again. Sherpa was shouting and roaring crazily. He was coming, but he was only at the peak of breaking 7. At this moment, he was being cut by the cracks. Seeing that Sherpa was coming, Heavenly Arm's expression changed. He was not afraid of the Heavenly Hound, but once the Heavenly Hound and Sherpa joined forces, even if he was not afraid, he would not be able to protect Iron Fist. At this moment, Heavenly Arm's expression changed slightly. The Heavenly Hound was looking for Iron Fist. Could it be? He had a vague idea in his heart. After thinking about it, Heavenly Arm did not say anything else, but said in a low voice, "He is not him." The Heavenly Hound could not be bothered and stared at Li Hansong. Li Hansong's heart palpitated a little, but at this moment, he resisted the palpitation and slowly walked forward. Just as he walked to the Heavenly Hound's side, bang! The Heavenly Hound slapped him to the ground with a paw. Then it slapped his head and roared, "Who asked you to hit a dog?" Bang! Now, this emperor has seized the opportunity. Bang! Your head is still so hard. You reincarnated with the same broken head? Idiot! Bang! I told you to hit me every time you see a dog. Hit me again. Bang! Blow up the dog's head. I will blow up your head. Sherpa arrived, his body full of injuries. He originally wanted to complain to the Heavenly Hound, but at this moment, he looked at the Heavenly Hound in a daze. This dog, is he crazy? Someone who was smacked to death with a paw. This dog was crazily attacking Li Hansong. If you want to hit me, then hit me. You are just a broken 8 dog. Why are you hitting the head of a true god? Yes, the current Heavenly Hound was like a mad dog, using its head to hit Li Hansong. Forget it. This dog was cursing and barking as if it was excited. Was there a need for this? Sherpa was in a daze. Heavenly Arm looked for a while and heaved a sigh of relief. This dog did not want to kill Li Hansong, but this dog's brain was indeed damaged. You are a broken 8. Even if you won against Iron Fist, isn't it embarrassing to look like a stupid dog? How embarrassing. No, it's embarrassing. He felt embarrassed for this dog. This dog was crazy, rolling on the ground and hitting its head against Iron Fist. He couldn't stand it anymore. Chapter 1286. Tai Tu was dizzy from being hit by Tengu. He felt that this dog was sick. Of course, he had heard that Celestial Emperor Batian had hit a dog before. The most important thing was, I didn't hit it. Even if it's me, you silly dog, can you stop bumping into it? His head was really going to explode from being hit by this silly dog. Tengu was very proud. After hitting for a while, it stopped. It pressed its paw on Tai Tu's head and said, arrogantly, continue hitting me. Tai Tu felt humiliated. He had been humiliated by a dog. He looked at the silly dog in a daze and blurted out, put on your pants. Can a dog not wear pants? Sherpa was a little sluggish. Skyarm felt that it was necessary to save the silly boy. Tengu was also stunned for a moment, and then flew into a rage out of humiliation. Did dogs need to wear pants? Which dog wore pants? Bang! With a loud sound, Tengu started hitting again. Skyarm felt a headache. Sherpa glanced at it and could not be bothered anymore. He said, Skyarm, you're not dead yet? What is this place? Isn't this the Myriad Worlds Palace? Why does it feel different? He said it's a boundary point. Boundary point. Sherpa glanced at the stairs and said after a while, interesting. This place has the aura of the source world. It's very mysterious. Let's go up. Look for yourself. When Sherpa heard this, he carefully observed for a while and quickly said, I understand. It's fine as long as the power is a bit more balanced. Big dog, stop messing around. Between the three of us, my spiritual sense, your chi and blood, Skyarm's vitality. Tengu slammed into Tai Tu and slumped to the ground. He looked back at the stairs and said indifferently, we don't know if there are any benefits, and we just ran in. There should be? Sherpa said, uncertainly. So many people came and made such a big scene. There are no benefits. Tengu thought about it and felt that there were still benefits. Then let's go in. Back then, I came to pee in this Myriad Worlds Palace and was thrown out. It was a great humiliation. Tengu said, angrily. Sherpa could not be bothered to reply. Great humiliation? You are the greatest humiliation to the three realms. You have the cheek to say that. Skyarm couldn't be bothered to say anything. He reached out to grab Tai Tu. Kacha, with a loud bang, the heavenly hound bit down and snorted, this guy, I'm going to beat him up until he doesn't dare to come to the three realms anymore. Now, I'm bringing him along. Tianbai frowned and asked, are you sure he's the reincarnation of the Celestial Arch? Who else could it be other than him? The heavenly hound snorted, that's the guy, there's no escaping. It could smell the scent of the arch armor. As the few of them were talking, another burst of rumbling sounds came out, followed by the same loud shouts. In the next moment, the God Creation Envoy came over in a sorry state. His flesh and blood had all disappeared, leaving only his bones. The skeleton of a divine artifact. The God Forging Envoy scolded. What the hell? Who made this? Are you trying to trick me? He was a cultivator who had broken 8 times, yet he ended up in such a sorry state. It was embarrassing. Tiango and the others glanced at him, but they couldn't be bothered with him anymore. At this moment, the God Creation Envoy had also regained his senses. He glanced at the few of them, and when he saw Sherpa, he snorted coldly. The origin realm that my disciple created for you. Return the fee as soon as possible. Otherwise, you will have a good time. Sherpa was too lazy to reply. The God Creation Envoy then looked at the heavenly hound, raised his eyebrows, and said indifferently, Yo, you have a dog chain? Let me see. The quality looks ordinary. Woof. The heavenly hound wanted to bite him to death. The God Creation Envoy did not think much of it. This dog was not a good thing. In the past, he did not bring anything with him, and just came to ask him to forge a divine artifact for him. He already said that it was not a cat, and it was not fun. Who the hell would forge a divine artifact for you? He could not be bothered with this silly dog. The God creation envoy finally looked at the sky arm, then looked at the steps and said, "This old man will provide the power of his spiritual sense. Sherpa is too weak. I won't bring him along. Let's go." With that said, before Sherpa could even speak, the heavenly hound, the sky arm, and the God creation envoy left. Yes, he left. The three of them stepped onto the steps together. "You, Sherpa, are just a broken 7 piece of trash. You can play by yourself." Sherpa was so angry that he wanted to vomit blood. What was this? "Don't force me," the God creation envoy said without turning his head. "Don't barge in recklessly, one step at a time, one layer at a time. You alone, it's easy for you to collapse and be trapped somewhere in the 3 realms. You are a broken 7. Stay by yourself. Wait for the others. Maybe someone will bring you along." You guys, Sherpa was about to explode from anger. He was despised by others. Sherpa snorted and quickly shouted, "Hurry up! Is there anyone else coming? If you don't come, this place will disappear. Hurry up and come." The 3 experts above maintained a balance of power, and all of them could reach the point of breaking through the door. He could follow, as long as the 3 of them had a balance of power, and let him join. In the end, these 3 bastards looked down on his strength of breaking 7. Even if they didn't bring him along, where could they go to reason with him? Seeing the 3 of them run away, the stares became somewhat illusory. At this moment, the rumbling sounds continued to ring out. This time, the people who came were in a much more sorry state. Moon Spirit's face was pale, her entire body covered in blood, and she was in an extremely sorry state. Sherpa glanced at her, raised his head, and no longer looked at her. "Too weak. I won't bring you to play." He was an expert at the peak of the Breaking 7 realm, and at the critical moment, he could still use some methods to break through 8. Moon Spirit had just broken through 7, so he felt that he could look down on her. Moon Spirit's expression was unfriendly as she snorted. She glanced at the stairs and frowned slightly. Seeing that, Sherpa sneered. "Great niece Moon Spirit, do you understand?" "Great niece." Moon Spirit's expression was ugly as she looked at him coldly. Sherpa didn't care and said calmly, "What are you looking at?" "Fatty Spirit is of my generation, and you don't want to recognize him as your great niece." Moon Spirit felt awkward when she heard this. "You can call him Spirit Emperor, but you have to call him Fatty Spirit. Don't you know that I am also called Moon Spirit?" Moon Spirit cursed in her heart. None of the old antiques that survived in the 3 realms were good people. Sherpa was the same. You didn't learn your lesson after being beaten by Spirit Emperor so many times. You deserve to be beaten every day. Sherpa ignored her and continued to shout, "Anyone else?" Boom! With a loud sound, a Kuan Pung tore through the sky, tearing apart heaven and earth. In the blink of an eye, it turned into a human form. A cold-looking expert, wearing a crown, landed on the ground, much more relaxed than Moon Spirit. Demon Emperor, Sea Guardian. Sherpa glanced at it and chuckled. "Kuan Pung, not bad. You broke through 8. Kuan Pung didn't reply. It looked at the stairs and looked at Sherpa and Moon Spirit. Sherpa's spiritual sense, Moon Spirit's vitality, my vitality and vitality. Sherpa, can you reach the level of breaking through the door? This path had to be balanced by the 3 forces, and they had to reach the level of breaking through the door. Ordinary people couldn't walk up. Even if they walked up, it was easy for the stairs to break, and they would be lost in a certain part of the 3 realms. Sherpa said, lazily, "I can barely maintain it for a while, can you? Moon Spirit's strength is not enough for you to support the power of 2 doors alone." Moon Spirit didn't say a word. She, who had broken through 7, didn't have much right to speak here, because she wasn't strong enough. Without the power to break through the door, it would be difficult to enter. Just as they were talking, the void shook again. In the next moment, someone said, Kuan Pong, Hong Kuan, together. The sea guardian didn't say anything and left with the two people who had just arrived. Sherpa watched the three of them leave in a daze, speechless for a long time. They left. Yes, it was King Kuan and Heavenly King who had just arrived. They called for the sea guardian and left without giving him a second look. Moon Spirit suddenly sneered. Sherpa looked down on her strength, but in the end, he was slapped in the face. When the Heavenly King and the others arrived, they ignored him, called for the sea guardian, and left. Embarrassing. Sherpo's expression didn't change, but he almost cursed in his heart. Damn it! Bastard! Bastard! What was so great about breaking through 8? So what if it was 8? However, Sherpa was a little anxious now, cursing, damn it! It seems like they're all gone. What should we do? The two of them couldn't leave. Even if another Heavenly King came, breaking through 7 would be useless, unless a few more came. Fong Ping's group had 10 Heavenly Kings on their way together. At this moment, the void was silently torn apart by someone, and lotus flowers bloomed. A young man walked out. Hong Yu. Hong Yu's expression was a little complicated. He looked at Moon Spirit and said softly, You want to go in? Moon Spirit said nothing. Sigh, then come with me. Sherpa. He was just about to call for Sherpu when the void split again in the next moment. Fong Yi looked at the stairs and smiled. Hong Yu, let's go together. Hong Yu nodded, called for Moon Spirit, and stepped on the stairs with Fong Yi. He, Fong Yi, and Moon Spirit. 3 people was enough. Sherpa was already stunned. He was so angry that he was trembling. They were all gone. Then he could not go in anymore. In this 3 realms, who else had broken through 8? If Chu Wu did not count, it seemed like Tian Chun did not come. Tian Chun probably would not come either. That meant he was abandoned. Bring me along. Sherpa roared. Bring him along. He wanted to go too. Unfortunately, the people in front had already stepped on the stairs and disappeared before his eyes. Damn it! Sherpa was flustered and exasperated. There was no use in being angry. Everyone had gone. He could not go over alone. The situation in the periphery was very dangerous now. Even those who had broken through 7 risked death, unless they had broken through 8. But how many people in the 3 realms who had broken through 8? That meant he was abandoned just like that. Bastard, damn it, no one brought me along. Sherpa howled at the sky. This was too much. Why did no one bring me along? The powerhouses arrived one after another. Right now, Fong Ping and the rest had no time to think about it. Right now, they had already walked to the highest point. An incomparably huge door, like a city wall, appeared in front of them. Heavenly King Yi shouted. According to the previous allocation, split into 3 groups and open the door. Pay attention. The power must be balanced. Otherwise, once the balance is lost, we will break through the boundary point and be lost somewhere in the 3 realms. Right now, the few Heavenly Kings, including Wan, did not say much, but Heavenly Fate did not care. He said lazily, What's the rush? If we are lost, then so be it. We can't die. As he spoke, he asked, Is the secret place inside? No. No. Heavenly Fate frowned. Then what is in the Myriad Realms Palace? The secret place is in the Myriad Realms Palace, but it is not a secret place. We can search after we go in. How did the Demon Emperor enter this place back then? Maybe the sealing power was not as strong as it is now. Heavenly King Yi was helpless. Why ask so many questions? Plus, he really did not know how the Demon Emperor entered back then. The Demon Emperor was already dead. How could he ask? After a few explanations, Heavenly King Yi said again, Heavenly Fate, there must be fortune in the secret place. Do you really not want to give it a try? I can guarantee that if you get the fortune here, breaking 7, 8, or even 9 won't be a lie. So sure, you've been there before. Heavenly Fate did not want to leave. He was a heavenly king. If he was not willing to cooperate, not only would the door not be opened, the others would also be in danger. Heavenly King, he frowned. No. Then who has been there? Heavenly Fate asked. You look like this is not your first time here. Even if you have not been there, you should know some things. Or someone else must have been here, someone other than the Demon Emperor. Ji Yun. Ji Yun only broke 7. Heavenly King, he was speechless. Only broke 7. He found that the people of the 3 realms were a bit abnormal. Was breaking 7 very weak. Taking a deep breath, Heavenly King said again, It really is Ji Yun. He had just reached the Heavenly King realm. After entering here, he quickly broke 7. What about the details? Let's go in first. Heavenly King, he looked behind and said hurriedly, Let's go in quickly. Otherwise, when the others come, we may not have a chance. King Qian also said, Heavenly Fate, let's go in first. We also want to know everything. Heavenly Fate did not ask anymore. He actually did not want to go in. But at this point, the tasks of the 10 heavenly kings had been arranged. If he did not go, the other 9 working together might not be able to maintain the balance. If he failed at the last step, these guys might not let him go. Heavenly Fate began to unleash his power reluctantly. Everyone pushed the door together. Fang Ping and the others did not move. At this moment, Fang Ping was still a little confused. He said to King Huai telepathically, Logically speaking, it is enough for these heavenly kings to come. Why bring us? The divine sect does not know, but Heavenly King E and the others should know some inside information. Why also bring us? True gods, venerable emperors, and even saints. Saints were actually not of much use here, but all parties still brought a group of people here. This had something to do with the inspectors. Even the divine sect only brought them because of Yuan Gang and the others' suggestion. Was this necessary, or did they have to bring them here? What secrets were there in this myriad world's palace? What was in this secret place? It was so difficult to come to this place. How did the Demon Emperor do it? He opened up 3 passageways for 3 people to pass through, allowing Warlord and the others to come here, gathering the power to break 3 doors. If one person came, it would need at least a powerhouse who had broken 9. Of course, it did not need the destructive power of breaking 9, but it needed the power of breaking 9 3 doors to open the myriad world's palace. It was so difficult. How did the Demon Emperor come in back then? Fang Ping pinched the old cat. He was very curious. What advice did the old cat give to unquestionable Jian that made unquestionable Jian come here? The old cat said to let unquestionable Jian go to the Celestial Cemetery. This place was not the core of the Celestial Cemetery. Did the old cat lead him here by accident? Or did it know of this place? Meow. A soft meow rang in Fang Ping's ear. The old cat said telepathically, I didn't let little Jian come here. I originally wanted him to go to the Celestial Cemetery. It is the place where those people are locked up. There are many opportunities there too. Little Jian came here by himself. I didn't know. The old cat did not know the situation either. Who knew how unquestionable Jian came here? This place was so dangerous. Unquestionable Jian, a true god, could also come here. It was simply a joke. Fang Ping did not ask anymore. He had some answers in his heart. Perhaps unquestionable Jian's arrival was also part of the game. Someone deliberately let him come here. Unquestionable Jian said that he had been in the game all his life, in the chessboard. Even when he was about to break 8, he chose to reincarnate. This meant that he felt that even breaking 8 could not break the cage, forcing a powerhouse who was about to break 8 to choose to give up his life. What was the reason? I am not unquestionable, Jian. Fong Ping snorted in his heart. No matter whose chessboard it was, he only needed one sentence to break it. Rumble! The huge door, under the efforts of the heavenly kings, began to open. The Myriad Worlds Palace, which had been sealed for many years, welcomed the opening once again this time. Rumble! A loud sound rang in the depths of the origin. A human voice was heard. Gee, what are you doing again? A slightly dissatisfied voice rang. The emperor's actions made the other 2 emperors guarding the door unhappy. Recently, there had been frequent incidents at the Vitality Gate. In front of the Vitality Gate, the emperor was indifferent. He said without a change in expression, "The gate has been broken. Recently, it has been frequently attacked by internal forces. Behind the gate, I wonder if something has happened." The previous voice paused. The emperor did not care and continued, "After guarding it for so many years, the 2 of you, why don't you go in and take a look? Back then, we only caught a glimpse of it. Now, we don't know what changes have happened inside. Are we going to keep waiting? No." Someone said in a low voice, "If we open the gate now, let's not talk about whether we will get lost or not. Once the gate is opened, it will be very easy for problems to occur." The emperor smiled, faintly. He did not care and said, "The void is shaking. Have the inspectors gone to the Myriad Worlds Palace?" Should be. What exactly exists in that secret place in the Myriad Worlds Palace? Unquestionable, Jian entered it in the past, but there was no news at all. The emperor frowned slightly. Also, Xiong has been to that place a few times. Did he really not find anything? The other 2 were silent again. A moment later, someone said, "Xiong probably did not go in. I have explored that place a few times. Although I was patrolling from afar, I found that the boundary point is unstable. If Xiong went in, I'm afraid that place will collapse." Boundary point, the emperor murmured. "When the heavenly court was built, we knew that was where the boundary point is. But there was nothing strange there. It was just that it was more suitable for cultivation of origin power. Do you think that it was left behind by Jean?" "Jean," an old voice was heard. The next moment, a white-haired old man appeared near the gate. The old man chuckled. Jean might have found something, so he might have left something behind. And it should not be just Jean. The emperor looked at the old man and said indifferently, "Qiong, you really did not find anything?" The person who came was the God Emperor. The God Emperor smiled. "No, I did not enter that place. This is the truth. That place is not only related to Jean, but also to that person, and even to the seed. But I did leave something behind there. I hope there will be some gains." "Something?" The emperor said indifferently. "What did you leave behind?" The God Emperor chuckled. "You will know when the time comes." The emperor looked at him coldly and said slowly, "You came here for something?" "Yes." The God Emperor looked at the blood gate behind him and smiled. The blood gate moved a few times before. Maybe something happened inside. The 3 gates cannot have any problems now. In that case, this old man will guard the blood gate with you. You don't trust me? That is not the case. The God Emperor sighed. But this gate cannot be broken now. It cannot be broken. It has been 10,000 years. This gate has been forged for 10,000 years. And it has been 30,000 years since the beginning of martial arts. How much longer can we live? How many 30,000 years? The God Emperor said softly, 100,000 years. That is the time this old man deduced. We might only live for 100,000 years. Will there be a next time after this failure? There might not be another chance. The God Emperor shook his head and smiled. We are not doing this for ourselves. You do not know. The three realms. There are some things that are beyond our control. Beyond our control. There are some problems with the origin path and the beginning of martial arts. There are problems with the Tao, problems behind the gate, problems one after another. We are emperors, the emperors of the three realms. There are some things that we have to do. Gee, there will not be a next time. The God Emperor sighed. If we do not succeed this time, I am afraid, the Emperor said lightly, since you want to guard, then come. All right, I will take a look around the three realms. Do not descend beyond the 9 heavens. The God Emperor said in a low voice, if you descend, there will be trouble. I will not. The God Emperor did not say more. He got up and left quickly. As soon as he left, the God Emperor shook his head slightly and said nothing more. He sat down cross-legged and began to suppress the blood gate that was moving. Kaboom! The palace gate opened. The Myriad Realms Palace was finally opened. The moment it opened, Fong Ping was a little dazed. Not only him, but everyone else was also dazed. This was a world. At the top of the world, there were 13 thrones. At this moment, there were people sitting on the thrones. Not only the 13 thrones, but there were also countless seats below. Those were the seats of the powerhouses of the past court meetings. The 13 thrones were occupied, but the other seats were empty. The 13 shadows were sitting on the thrones. Below, a figure appeared. There were people below the 13 thrones. Some strange words came into Fong Ping's ears. Fong Ping did not understand. He seemed to have heard these words before. He thought for a while. Was it from the heavenly realm? The others should understand it. Fortunately, Fong Ping still had a cat with him that could understand. At this moment, a raving voice was heard. No one knew who was speaking. Liar, do you understand? The cat asked, without waiting for Fong Ping to reply. It translated. This person said, Fong Ping said directly, you translate directly, no more words. The cat was depressed. All right, I will listen to you. Teacher, I am afraid we still need to consider the immortal source. If we don't build the immortal source, the three realms will be destroyed sooner or later. But if we build the immortal source, the three realms Tao will be limited. That is still better than destruction. Teacher said that the three realms will be destroyed. We can't just listen to teacher alone. I went to the land of origin. Something happened there. The seed's power is leaking. Why? I don't know. Teacher, about the immortal source, can you allow us to discuss it and consider it? This matter is very important. There is no time. Teacher, up to you. If the three realms are destroyed, there is nothing we can do. As soon as this sentence fell, Fong Ping saw the person below the throne disappear. Fong Ping frowned. This person was, he knew that the powerhouses above the 13 thrones should be the 9 sovereigns and 4 emperors. Then who was this? Just as Fong Ping was feeling suspicious, the cat translated again. This sentence, Fong Ping heard some fluctuations in the tone. Will Celestial Emperor do it himself? Rumble. In the world, everything collapsed and disappeared in an instant. The voice disappeared. The figure disappeared. The throne disappeared. He did not know who said the last sentence. At this moment, there was only the last sentence in Fong Ping's mind. The cat asked curiously, Big dog? Was that a big dog just now? What is a big dog doing here? That is not a dog, right? Celestial Emperor. Wasn't that a big dog? The cat was very curious. Fong Ping, however, was too lazy to respond. What big dog? Or not? Obviously, the teacher that those people called before and the Celestial Emperor that person called at the end were the same person. Teacher. Celestial Emperor. At this moment, Fong Ping frowned slightly, a little suspicious. Celestial Emperor. Was that the first title that Skydog used? Among the 9 sovereigns and 4 emperors, someone called him teacher. Was this person the one who created the origin or someone else? The 9 sovereigns and 4 emperors had many teachers. Fang Ping was not sure if it was that person. The key was not this. The key was that the immortal source plan was not proposed by the 9 sovereigns and 4 emperors, but someone asked them to do it. Fang Ping was confused for a moment. The shadow that he saw that day, was it the one who just left? Obviously, the scene here should be a scene left behind in the past. It was hard to determine when exactly it was, but it was at least before the immortal source plan. The 3 realms is getting more and more interesting. Fang Ping's eyes revealed a touch of mockery, very complicated. All right, it would be best if the 9 sovereigns were also pawns so that all of you can experience this feeling. At this moment, the others also came to their senses. Heavenly King, he shouted, "Go in quickly!" Everyone also heard something. They might not have heard the same thing, but obviously they all gained something. At this moment, King Qian and the others also had a change of expression, quickly stepping into the main hall. The main door of the Myriad Realms Palace closed with a bang. Chapter 1287. Inside the Myriad Worlds Palace. The Myriad Worlds Palace didn't look big from the outside, but it felt like it was another universe. Very, very big. The 13 thrones and the illusory figures were gone, as were the other thrones. They seemed to be stepping on clouds. The ground below wasn't so solid. At this time, there was only endless darkness in all directions, with no end in sight. King Qian and the others frowned. This was different from the Myriad Worlds Palace they had seen before. "King Yi, is this the Myriad Worlds Palace?" King Qian shouted. This place was completely different from the Myriad Worlds Palace of the past. The Myriad Worlds Palace of the past was also big, but it didn't look like this. Heavenly King Yi looked around, not in a hurry to speak. He squatted down, touched the ground lightly, and said in a low voice, "This is indeed the Myriad Worlds Palace of the past. But because it is a boundary point, it has been eroded by the surrounding voids, forming a different universe inside. This place was the Myriad Worlds Palace, but it was completely different from before." Heavenly King Yi turned around, his expression changing slightly. The others also turned around, and soon their expressions changed. The door was gone. Behind them, it was also dark. King Qian's expression changed slightly, but Li Zhu wasn't too anxious. He said slowly, "It should be a spatial shift. The inside should be divided into multiple spaces. The moment we stepped in here, the door is actually not behind us anymore." Heavenly King Yi nodded. Soon, Heavenly King Yi said, "Not only that, the Myriad Worlds Palace has probably already entered the boundary point space at the intersection of multiple universes. The way back might be a little troublesome. Now is not the time to worry about this. They were all powerhouses looking for opportunities, so they just needed to come in. As for getting out, under normal circumstances, powerhouses wouldn't think too much about it. There would always be a way out. If they could come in, they could go out, reap some benefits, and become stronger. That was the foundation." Li Zhu smiled faintly. "Heavenly King Yi, since we are already here, can you tell us about the secret place now?" Saying so, he glanced at Lu Shan, North King's top disciple. This person had also voluntarily submitted to the heavenly court, but Lu Shan didn't say anything before. Now Li Zhu smiled again. "Cultivator Lu, why did you ask us to bring some true gods and venerable emperors here?" Lu Shan glanced at Yi. Without waiting for him to speak, Yi explained, "This place is mysterious, and I don't know much about it. The secret place is indeed within the Myriad Worlds Palace, but it's not the Myriad Worlds Palace. It's in another space. If I want to obtain some opportunities, the first thing I need to do is to find a secret place. And even if you find the entrance to the secret place, it doesn't mean that you will be able to obtain the benefits immediately. After entering the secret place, there will be multiple tests. No one knows exactly how many trials and difficulties there are. In the past, Ji-yun was lucky enough to enter once. However, Ji-yun was unable to advance any further after reaching the third stage. So, in reality, even Ji-yun doesn't know how many stages there are in this secret place. We don't even know where we will end up. However, Ji-yun has obtained countless benefits from just these 3 trials. According to Ji-yun, passing the trials doesn't necessarily require great strength. Opportunities, luck, and talent are all key factors. As for true God Realm warriors, they are all talented people. Hence, this time, we hope that more people can come, so that we can obtain more opportunities and greater benefits. Heavenly King, he explained for a while. Li Zhu raised his eyebrows slightly. Pass. Who set up the trials? I don't know. Maybe the 9 sovereigns and 4 emperors. Li Zhu's face darkened as he said faintly, if the trials were set up by the 9 sovereigns and 4 emperors, why would they let you pass them? They would just give them to you. No, Heavenly King, he was also distressed. After thinking for a while, he smiled bitterly and said, let's put it this way. The trials might have been set up by the 9 sovereigns and 4 emperors, but the 9 sovereigns and 4 emperors themselves don't know about it. Everyone frowned. What kind of joke was this? It's true. Heavenly King, he said helplessly. As I said, this is a boundary point, a place where many spaces intersect. This place used to be the Myriad Worlds Palace, the place where the 9 sovereigns and 4 emperors fought, the place where many worlds were broken. In this place, there might be some residual power that formed this secret place. In this secret place, there might be some residual power that intersected some fragments of the sovereigns' memories or their lives. Therefore, the 9 sovereigns and 4 emperors, as well as some other powerful warriors, might have left some trials in this secret place to stop us from entering. Heavenly Kingy thought for a while and said, take Ji-yun, for example. Back then, he encountered a trial left by the human sovereign, which he was familiar with. He had cultivated the sovereign technique to the 5th level, which is above the sovereign realm. It's almost impossible for others to do that. Even if you had the sovereign technique, you would have to spend hundreds, thousands, or even tens of thousands of years to do that. Heavenly King, he shook his head and said, Ji-yun passed 3 trials, but he couldn't pass the 4th one no matter what. In the 4th trial, he had to fight against Heaven Emperor Batian at the same level, but Heaven Emperor Batian killed him over 1,000 times. Heavenly Kingy smiled bitterly and said, you know that Heaven Emperor Batian likes to challenge powerful warriors of different levels. He didn't restrain his origin, but fought against you at his peak. His physical body is strong, his origin is powerful, and he has rich fighting experiences. To be honest, even if the other 12 Supreme Masters joined hands, how many of them could defeat him? The same goes for beginner martial artists. Heaven Emperor Batian likes to fight beginner martial artists, but he has never lost unless he doesn't use his origin energy. He can forge jade bones, and King Qin should know how he did it. He defeated hundreds of beginner martial artists to do that. Heavenly King Yi's words shocked everyone. The secret place is like this, stealing some of the memories of the 9 sovereigns and 4 emperors, forming a trial for people to pass. No one knows how many trials there are, and no one knows where the end is. But just what he said was enough to make everyone feel that it was a huge problem. Cultivating the sovereign technique to the Emperor realm, defeating Heaven Emperor Batian, who was at the same level? What a joke! Everyone frowned. Who could defeat Heaven Emperor Batian, who was at the same level? At least, not many people here had this confidence. Although Heaven Emperor Batian often lost to Mia, it didn't mean he was weak. On the contrary, He might not be very strong among the 9 sovereigns and 4 emperors, but he was almost invincible among those who were at the same level as him. Because his physical body was too strong, no one could break it, and their mentality couldn't form a crushing effect. I see. At this moment, Fang Ping was also surprised. So this was the secret place. In the past, a group of powerhouses had fought here, and because it was a boundary point, it formed a special space. One had to pass the trials to reap the benefits. They didn't know how many trials there were. How many trials did Unquestionable Sword pass? Did he pass all the trials in the end? No one knew. Fang Ping was still thinking. Li Zhu said in a low voice, "Do we pass the trials together? Or do we separate after entering?" "I don't know." Heavenly King, he shook his head helplessly once more. All those years ago, it was only by coincidence that Ji Yun managed to enter this place. He came alone, and after that, he was unable to enter this place again. So, I'm not too sure if they appeared together or separately, but Heavenly King, he looked at everyone and said, according to Ji Yun's speculation, there must be a number of trials, maybe only 13. After passing the trials, there might be great benefits. Heavenly King Yi's expression was solemn as he said, Ji Yun didn't see what exactly the benefits were, but Ji Yun once said that after passing the 3 tests, he saw some special things between the changes of the tests. He always felt that if he could break through all the tests, he would be able to obtain incomparably great benefits. King Qian said, "If we can't pass the trials, what will happen to us?" After Ji Yun passed the 3 trials, he couldn't pass the 4th one. He was defeated by Celestial Emperor about 1,000 times, and in the end, he fell out of the secret place. According to him, maybe because the number of trials was limited, he kept failing and was automatically kicked out of that space. King Qian nodded. Wan didn't care about this and said directly, after passing 3 trials, what benefits did he get? Heavenly King Yi smiled and said, many. For example, the sword you're holding is the reward for passing one of the trials. Demigod weapon. Everyone was envious. The sword Wan took was Ji Yun's big sword, a demigod weapon very powerful, and the demigod weapon was only the reward for passing one of the trials. Li Zhu thought about it and asked curiously, "Do you know this sword? Was it forged in the past, or did it appear out of nowhere?" It existed in the 3 realms before. Heavenly King, he said, it might be a weapon lost in the source world. You know, when a source expert dies, once his belongings are in the source world or the Sanjiao Gate, they will be left in the source universe. Spatial rings, on the other hand, are actually stored somewhere in the 9 heavens. The higher the level of the ring, the deeper the space. The storage space of a spatial ring forged by a top expert might be somewhere in the 9 heavens. And these spaces are all vast and boundless. When your ring collapses, the items will be left behind, and you won't be able to find where they are. And this place is the boundary point, so some treasures might be drawn here. All the treasures lost in the 3 realms over the years might be here. Ji Yun's sword was left behind by a heavenly king in the past. Of course, that was a long time ago. Heavenly King Yi smiled and said, "So there must be many treasures in this place. If you're lucky, there might even be divine weapons or even beginner martial supreme divine weapons." Many beginner martial supreme experts died back then, and some of them lost their weapons as well. Everyone became more and more envious. Heavenly King Yi smiled and said, "Weapons are just external objects, after all. There are actually many other things. For example, the human emperor technique is a cultivation method that only the direct descendants of the human emperor can learn. Outsiders can't learn it, and here you might be able to learn the complete version of the human emperor technique." Since there's a cultivation method of the human emperor, there might be other cultivation methods of the other emperors. Not only the cultivation method, but if you encounter another emperor who teaches you Tao, it might be an unexpected gain as well. For example, my master, the Divine Emperor, likes to teach Tao. Ji Yun didn't encounter any of my master's obstacles, but if he did, he might gain something else from listening to my master's teachings. Even we, the direct descendants, might gain something else. After all, we weren't strong in the past. When we were strong, my master had already disappeared from the three realms. My master didn't say much about the path after the Heavenly King stage. This place probably contains some of the origins of the 9 sovereigns and 4 emperors. In other words, it's something from the depths of their memories. This means that it might be something extremely secretive. Even as his disciple, he might not have heard of it. At this moment, even Li Zhu and King Qian were slightly shocked. Was this place so mysterious? Did the 9 sovereigns and 4 emperors know about this place? They should, but why didn't they come? Thinking of this, Li Zhu asked, "Have no emperors ever come here?" "We can't get in." Heavenly King Yi smiled. "The emperors are too strong. Let's put it this way. The Myriad Worlds Palace and the others might not be able to enter because they are too strong. Once they come, they might cause this boundary point to disappear completely. Disappear completely." Everyone frowned slightly. King Qian said in a low voice, "Then if an emperor comes now and the boundary point disappears, what about us? We'll be fine." Heavenly King Yi smiled. "At most, we'll fall to one of the 3 realms along with the space shattering. Unless our luck is too bad, such as entering the 9th heaven and being cut by the cracks, or falling into the depths of the origin and unable to return, that's definitely dangerous. And we might never be able to return. But under normal circumstances, even if the boundary point shatters, we'll appear near it and return quickly." Heavenly King Yi answered everyone's questions one by one. But now, Fong Ping was looking for that tree. Heavenly King Yi hit something. A tree. Fong Ping was curious. What was the tree hiding here for? According to Heavenly King Yi, the secret place was the key. Then, what was the purpose of this tree? To hide here and challenge the checkpoint? Or to wait for everyone to come out and capture them all in one fell swoop? It was not impossible. Everyone else had gone in to challenge the checkpoint, but there was a Heavenly King powerhouse hiding in the dark. Once someone failed and came out, would this tree be prepared to kill them and take the benefits? "Big Cat, where's that tree?" Fong Ping asked. The cat poked its little head out, its nose twitching as it sniffed for a while. Every time Fong Ping saw this action, he was speechless. "You're not a dog." The cat did not care about this. After sniffing for a while, it quickly transmitted its voice. "It's still not too clear. Did it enter that secret place? Otherwise, in a space, I should be able to smell it." "It's inside the secret place." Fong Ping raised his eyebrows. This was also a possibility. It knew there were benefits. This tree had reached the Heavenly King realm and was a powerhouse. Its intelligence would not be low. It also went to challenge the checkpoint. This was a very normal thing. At this moment, Fong Ping was also curious about what was in the secret place. Weapons, cultivation methods. These things Fong Ping did not care too much. However, if there were 13 checkpoints, there might be some gains. After passing the 13 checkpoints, would there be better things? If I had known that this place had so many secrets, I should have asked Heavenly King Garrison to send me here instead of Warlord and the others. Fong Ping felt a little regretful. He had come one step earlier and caught them all in one go. Now, Warlord and the others did not know if they were challenging the checkpoints or doing something else. Just as he was thinking about this, the celestial pole said, Is there danger in challenging the checkpoints? Heavenly King Yi thought for a while before saying there might still be danger. Ji Yun failed the fourth checkpoint and was defeated many times by Celestial Emperor Batian. Much of his origin had dissipated. Otherwise, his final reward would not only be allowing him to break through 7. Of course, opportunities are accompanied by danger. Prince Celestial Pole should understand this. The Celestial Pole curled his lips. Understand my A*S. I don't understand. I only want to get benefits. I don't want to encounter danger. Then, what exactly can we get after passing the 13 checkpoints? Heavenly King Yi said helplessly, if we knew, the benefits would have been taken away long ago. The Demon Emperor might not have passed all the checkpoints. If he had passed all the checkpoints, this mystic land might have disappeared. So, I don't know what exactly is in this secret place, but it can't be anything bad. Both you and I have a chance. Right at that moment, Fong Ping finally spoke up. He said rather respectfully, Master Yi, we are only Emperor Venerable True Gods after all. Our abilities are weak. Can we pass this level? There is hope. Heavenly King Yi didn't mind his question. In fact, these weaklings all had the same worries. Heavenly King Yi smiled and said, let's talk about Celestial the Archbatian. Back then, Ji Yun was a heavenly king, and Celestial the Archbatian was already incomparably powerful. Who in the same realm could rival him? But you guys are different. Although the Batian Emperor is strong, he is not invincible. Therefore, for this test, it's not that the stronger one is, the better it is. On the contrary, the stronger one is, the harder it is. Because you are too powerful, the one who broke through to the 8th level met the Heaven Emperor Batian, who broke through to the 8th level. Heavenly King Yi couldn't be bothered to say anymore. If the one who broke through to the 8th level met the Heaven Emperor Batian, who could be a match for him? Hearing this, Li Zhu smiled bitterly and said, so we're doomed to fail. Heavenly Emperor of Tyrant. He was pessimistic, but Luan didn't care. He sneered, the Batian Emperor, who broke 7? Let him come. I will beat him until he cries. Break 7. I am invincible. He was about to break 8, but he hadn't done it yet. If they were at the same level, he was confident that he could break 7 against 7. Even the 9 sovereigns and 4 emperors of the same level couldn't compare to him. Heavenly King Yi smiled and didn't deny it. Luan was confident, but the 9 sovereigns and 4 emperors weren't pushovers. Did he really think he could win? It was hard to say. Of course, it wasn't his real body. Heavenly King Yi said, this is only a part of the origin of memory, not the real body. There is still a gap. We might be able to pass. Plus, we don't know when we will encounter this level. The checkpoints might not be in order. They might appear according to your own situation. This way, you might encounter it at the last level. By then, you will have already obtained countless benefits by breaking the previous levels. Everyone nodded again. Li Zhu looked at Heavenly King Yi thoughtfully, giving benefits. According to Heavenly King Yi, what benefits the others obtained had nothing to do with him. If it didn't matter, why did he invite so many people? Even if they couldn't enter the gate, he could just call Heavenly King. Why did he ask Lu Shan and the others to purposely give out some information and bring true gods and venerable sovereigns here? If they came, these people might obtain benefits. Li Zhu remained calm and said indifferently, after we go in, the checkpoints that can be broken individually are different. If someone comes out before us, where will he appear? Also, can he come out voluntarily? Heavenly King Yi smiled and said, after coming out, he should appear in the void, near the boundary point. I don't know where exactly. As for coming out voluntarily, you can give up on the checkpoints or fail many times. If you fail voluntarily, you should be able to leave voluntarily. King Qian said straightforwardly, I only have one question. If we can pass the checkpoints together, how will the rewards be distributed? This is what we are looking forward to. Heavenly King Yi seemed to be explaining why he invited so many people. He said, we are also looking forward to passing the checkpoints together. There is strength in numbers. If we face difficulties together, if you can't do it, someone else can. As for distribution, if we pass the checkpoints together, whoever passes the checkpoints will get the rewards. As for how you will distribute them, that's your own business. King Qian said again, if we can pass the checkpoints together, will we go to the next checkpoint together, or only the person who passes the checkpoints can? This no experience can tell us if this will work. Heavenly King Yi sighed and said, King Qian, we don't know either. We can only try. But our guess is that there are only so many checkpoints. If we have more people, even if we are separated, we might meet in one checkpoint. If you pass one checkpoint and enter the next one, you might meet others. In this case, if someone passes the checkpoint in one checkpoint, we will have a chance to learn from each other. Heavenly King, he said sincerely, if there are 13 checkpoints, it must be extremely difficult. Only when everyone works together can we have hope to completely uncover the secret of this secret place. Everyone here is a heaven's talent of the 3 realms. To be able to come here alive, luck and strength are indispensable. Then why didn't you say so earlier? I brought my brothers with me. Luan said unhappily, we need more people. Our divine nation of chaos is full of people. Heavenly King Yi chuckled and said, those below the true God level don't know much about the great Tao. Even if they come and pass the checkpoints, when they leave, those below the true God level probably can't even withstand the pressure of the void-shattering pressure. So, it's basically suicide. Luan, more people can't solve any problems. As for why we didn't gather all the experts above the true God level, on one hand, it's very dangerous. On the other hand, it's selfish. Are you all really willing to share this secret place with everyone? We didn't tell those Broken Eight because we were worried that those Broken Eight would steal our fortune. Heavenly King, he said sincerely. Li Zhu smiled and didn't say anything. The others didn't say anything either. After a moment of silence, Heavenly King, he said, everyone, let's find the location of the secret place first. There should be more people coming. And those who are able to come would at least have the strength of a cultivator who is broken through the 7th level, or some powerful cultivators would bring others along. Perhaps even those who have broken through the 8th level would be alerted. They don't know much, but we know more. So we have to fight for time. Everyone didn't waste any more time. They followed the others and searched for the secret place in the dark void. King Huai came to Fang Ping's side and said telepathically, Fellow Niu, do you think Heavenly King Yi's words can be trusted? 9 truths and 1 lie. Fang Ping's reply was definitely not the whole truth. But in order to win Li Zhu's trust, Heavenly King Yi wouldn't say all lies. Some things might be true, but, for example, Ji Yun might not be the one who came back then. The one who came back then might be Yi himself. Otherwise, why would the Divine Emperor's tree be here? Also, that tree didn't show up. It might be challenging the checkpoints, or it might be lying in ambush somewhere. Either way, it didn't have any good intentions. It was hard to say whether one would die if they failed the checkpoints. In short, they just needed to extract some key information from Heavenly King Yi. They didn't need to care too much about the rest. Besides, this secret place might not only have the 9 sovereigns and 4 emperors, including the Celestial Emperor who appeared here before. The opening of the gate and the appearance of 14 experts might be a sign. This secret place might be related to the Celestial Emperor. Everyone was just pretending to be confused. They had also seen the scene from before, but none of them mentioned it. It was obviously impossible for them to be so calm. Li Zhu and the other old foxes knew what was going on and would not take Heavenly King Yi's words seriously. While Fang Ping and the others were looking for the entrance to the secret place, the gate of the Myriad Worlds Palace opened again. As soon as the Heavenly Hound entered the door, it frowned and said, "Strange, I seem to smell some old things." The God Creation Envoy ignored it, and the clones quickly dispersed, disappearing in the blink of an eye. Very quickly, the God Creation Envoy raised his eyebrows. "I didn't see those guys. There are multiple spaces, and the space is divided. Let's go and find the core of the world point. This place is where the world point is, but not where the core is. Go and find the location of the Myriad Worlds Palace. The location of the 9 sovereigns and 4 emperors might be where the core is." As he spoke, he suddenly looked at Li Hansong. The God Creation Envoy saw him looking around and suddenly grabbed his neck. "You lead the way. Smell it." Li Hansong almost died of anger. "What do you take me for?" The God Creation Envoy laughed and said, "Hurry up and smell it. Don't expect to fool that fool Sky Arm. The Heavenly Dog beat you up. It would be strange if that fool Sky Arm didn't know that you are Li Hansong. Don't worry, I still have to count on Fang Ping and the others to do something and protect you. Even Sky Arm won't dare to do anything to you." He had never seen Li Hansong before, but he knew who he was. The Heavenly Hound beat him up the moment it arrived, and the God Creation Envoy guessed who he was. At this point, if he still hoped to hide it from Sky Arm, he would really be treating Sky Arm as a fool. Li Hansong's face was filled with confusion. The God Creation Envoy stared at him with a smile that was not a smile. Li Hansong was still at a loss. "What are you talking about? I don't understand. I'm not Li Hansong. I'm Iron Fist." "Enough. You're just like that bastard Fang Ping." The God Creation Envoy scoffed. "You're still a little too inexperienced. It's fine to hide it from others, but to hide it from me? Do you think you can hide your origin chi from me? Who are you going to hide it from when my spiritual gate is open? Although I wasn't the one who personally forged your Emperor armor back then, I was also involved in the design. Do you still not know how to use it? Is it because the gloves can't be unfolded? I know, but I won't tell you." Li Hansong looked dejected. "Come on, stop pretending." This old fellow was too terrifying. He even knew that his gloves couldn't be unfolded, so what was there to pretend for? "Senior, then how do I unfold my gloves?" At the side, Sky Arm was helpless and shook his head with a bitter smile. He had almost been fooled by this guy before. Although he was a little suspicious, he was not too sure how good this guy was at pretending to be stupid. Now, there was no escape. "Let's find a place first. Hurry up and smell it. We'll talk when we get there." The God Creation Envoy was too lazy to say anything else. Li Hansong was depressed. "I'm not a dog. Isn't there a dog here? Why did he have to smell it himself? P.S. The monthly tickets are about to explode. Brothers, add fuel to the fire. Please, monthly tickets." Chapter 1288. Experts from all over the world entered one after another. At this moment, the outside world, there were still some experts who had yet to leave. On the side of the human race, Old Zhang did not leave. He needed to stay behind to oversee the human world. When he thought about how the 2 old fellows, Sky King, Subduing King, and God Creation Envoy, ran so fast that they disappeared in the blink of an eye, Old Zhang scolded them again and again. However, at this moment, after Old Zhang finished cursing, he was somewhat moved. In the hall, Old Zhang looked at Old Man Li and asked again, "Are you sure that many people ran away?" Old Manly said, I'm sure. In the catacombs, it seems like only the Palm Seal envoy, the Heavenly King, is here. Hangyu seems to have left. The demon Noarch has left. King Kuan has also left. The divine sect doesn't even have a Heavenly King now. The experts who were supervising the various forces responded. Old Man, Li said again, right now, most of the Heavenly King powerhouses in the 3 realms have gone to the Celestial Cemetery. Only a few are left to guard. But on our side, you're still here. Senior Lin and Senior Dragon Transformation are both here. Old Man, Li found it a little funny. 3 realms Heavenly King ranking. There were a total of 25 people. Now, almost all of them have run away. On the human side, there were still 3 Heavenly King stage powerhouses who had not left. In the vast 3 realms, the human race was truly the strongest. Old Zhang rubbed his chin and said, finding it strange, previously, some people left. I sensed them, but almost all those who broke past 8 stayed behind. In the end, the Heavenly Grave's strange activity caused those who broke past 8 to be unable to sit still. What exactly happened over at the Heavenly Tomb? At first, almost all those who had broken 8 stayed. No one left. However, ever since the spatial anomaly spread, King Kuan and the others didn't even care about their lair anymore. The creation god envoy did say that it was a boundary point. Old Manly was confused too. They did not really understand what boundary points were. At this moment, Wang Jinyang just happened to enter the door. When he heard this, he said, a boundary point is a place where the realms connect. It's a little special. There might be something special or even a historical record. What? Old Zhang was a little surprised. You mean Wang Jinyang smiled and said, it's similar to some special places on Earth. It might have preserved some of the things that happened in the past and only appear under special circumstances. And the boundary points could preserve such fragments. Strictly speaking, they were already somewhat related to time. Of course, the past was the past. For those who had experienced it, it might not mean much. However, for those who had never experienced it, it might be quite beneficial. For example, if this place could capture the footage of the 9 sovereigns proving their Tao, you might be able to discover some secrets that could help you prove your Tao. For example, if you were to encounter the fragment where the origin was created back then, you would also be able to reap great rewards. Lao Wang found a place to sit down and continued, the boundary point is very mysterious. The formation of a boundary point in the Heavenly Tomb should be related to the great battle in the past. King Kuan and the others knew that it was a boundary point, so they all ran over. Perhaps they wanted to trace some past events. Old Zhang nodded. No wonder they all ran away. They even abandoned their lair. I wonder if that kid Fang Ping is among them. There's a high chance he's there. Lao Wang smiled and said, he can't stay idle for such a big matter. How could he not go? However, the world junctions were also very dangerous. Once the world junctions collapsed, it was easy to get lost in certain areas. However, with so many people going this time, the world junctions would not collapse so easily unless the sovereigns made a move. But if he did attack, he would be lost. In the 3 realms, perhaps the humans have profited. At the very least, they are the strongest. Old Zhang smiled and said, you're not wrong. I won't be going to the world junctions. The timing is very good now. The humans are powerful and well-trained. I want to take advantage of this opportunity to do something. 3 Heavenly Kings were there. Moreover, he was a broken 7. Currently, only the Palm Imprint envoy was still guarding the catacombs in the 3 realms. This was an opportunity. Old Manly asked, what are you planning to do? Wang Jinyang also said, slaughter some powerhouses? If we make a move now, we can indeed kill some powerhouses. However, once they return, those broken 7 and 8 heavenly kings will definitely go crazy. It's actually better if we have a foundation. These people are restraining each other and dare not act rashly. However, if the foundation is destroyed, then it will be even more troublesome. Old Zhang nodded. He understood this too. King Kuan and the others were still restraining themselves, including Hong Yu and the others and the Demon Emperor. It was actually much better with a foundation. Without a foundation, for example, chaos was much more savage. As for the humans, they seemed crazy. In fact, Fang Ping and the others did not dare to kill all of the other party's people in every battle. In the battle of slaughtering the emperors, if they continued to kill, how many of the few remaining saints in the catacombs could survive? Those true gods were even more vulnerable. They had been killed long ago. How could there be so many true gods left? Fang Ping was still considered ruthless. Old Zhang rarely attacked those true gods now. Zhang Tao laughed. It's not killing. Killing is not the goal. I want to take advantage of this time to plunder the 3 realms. We can even work together with the Palm Imprint Envoy to do this together. Beyond Avalon, Extraterritorial Immortal Island, Divine Sect, Medicine God Island, there are many forces. Moreover, they are rich in resources. We will directly plunder their wealth, including all kinds of cultivation resources. We will leave a bunch of poor people behind and wait for those people to come back and support them. Not only that, this time I also want to directly plunder some Beyond Avalon. The forging materials of Beyond Avalon are very good. We also need to leave a way out for the humans. We will build a void world. At the last moment, we will throw a group of people in and banish this void world. As for where they are banished to and where they will take root, let fate decide. Old Zhang sighed. The situation looks good now, but it's hard to say what will happen in the end. That's why we will take advantage of their absence this time, to rob them. For these heavenly kings, it doesn't matter if their things are robbed. It's fine as long as they are still here. Old Man Li looked slightly strange. We want to rob the 3 realms. Yes, Old Zhang laughed. Since they ran away on their own, we can't just watch, can we? What if they come back and are not happy? Since when do we need to worry so much? Old Zhang laughed. We are robbing some resources, not exterminating them. Moreover, this is a good opportunity now. Let some true gods lead teams to fight everywhere. Focus on challenges. Try not to massacre everyone. We can train them and seize resources. I don't know how long they will stay in the ancestral tomb. Under normal circumstances, this kind of secret place is normal for a month or so. Wang Jinyong said lightly, don't have too much hope. It's fine if Fang Ping is not here. He's here a month or so. He can come out in 3 days. He could not refute. Old Zhang did not know whether to laugh or cry. There was nothing wrong with what he said. If Fang Ping was inside, he might really come out in a few days. That's why I said we have to hurry. Old Zhang said, there's also the beginner martial artists. I think a lot of people will go this time. Old Man Li was surprised. You want to rob even beginner martial artists? You'll offend a lot of people. I'm not robbing. Let's go take a look. Old Zhang laughed. There should be a lot of powerhouses guarding beginner martial artists. Let's go take a look. If we encounter some important resources, we can seize them secretly. They're not family. Last time, Fang Ping and the sacred martial god had a big fight. Do you really think it's over just like that? As long as it's not a big deal, we can rob them. Old Man Li nodded and said quickly, then it's better to do it as soon as possible. Wait a little longer. When they really leave, we'll find a weaker force to test them first. Otherwise, it would not be able to stop my investigation. There is a king inside. It doesn't seem like it. The God creation envoy hesitated for a moment, then said, "Back then, there was a world point, and time and space were a little chaotic. I suspect that there might be some images of emperors from a specific period left behind inside." Sky Arm said in a deep voice, "Can we go in?" "Yes, yes." The God creation envoy started to fiddle with it again, his brows knitted tighter and tighter. "Take it easy. This place, there's still something wrong." Although it was because of the world point, it seemed like someone had set up something later on. "Be careful. If you separate from us, remember to be careful with your words and actions. Especially Li Hansong, if you are separated from us, be careful. I feel that there is something strange about this place. The entrance was cut open by someone. There might have been an entrance before, but someone didn't want to stay together with the strong, so they deliberately cut the entrance open. This was not something that could be done overnight. There might be a powerhouse hiding in the dark in this damned place. He even controlled a portion of the rules of the world point." Li Hansong nodded solemnly. The God creation envoy laughed again. "It's fine. This old man can't investigate too much outside. Let's talk after we go in. Give me some time. It's hard to say who is in control of this world point. It shouldn't be the Emperor. If it was the Emperor, this place would collapse. It could be the Heavenly King, or it could be the Emperor's avatar. In that case, the few of them weren't too worried. Even the Emperor's avatar couldn't do anything to them. In the next moment, the three of them and the dog rushed into the crevice. The crack instantly disappeared. At the same time, King Kuan and the Sea Guardian were both present in King Suppressing Sky's group. At this moment, they had also discovered the crack, and it was also under a throne. King Suppressing Sky King scanned the area and raised his eyebrows slightly. Someone cut open the space of the Myriad World Palace and deliberately lured us to different entrances. Maybe after entering, the corresponding things will be different. King Kuan said indifferently, "World Point. There might be some problems with the World Point. Let different people go to different entrances and solve different problems." King Suppressing Sky King. "There is someone secretly controlling this place, wanting to break the mystery in one fell swoop and find the ultimate mystery of this place. That's possible." King Suppressing Sky King laughed. "There is a high chance that it was set up by the Emperor, but even if you know, are you going to enter or not?" "Enter." King Kuan didn't say much, even if he knew that it was a trap set up by the Emperor. "So what?" King Kuan said indifferently. "Even the Emperor dares to slaughter. This place is at most an avatar." After entering, think of a way to meet up with the others. If there are powerhouses hiding here, they won't be too weak. After all, even opening the door requires 3 to break 8. This place might have the confidence to deal with 3 powerhouses who have broken 8. Try not to separate from me. King Suppressing Sky King didn't say much. He sensed it again and smiled. "Then let's go in." "It seems that the Emperor is also interested in this place." "Very good. I like this feeling. This means that the Emperor may not have found out the mysteries and secrets within. Instead, it is an opportunity. Knowing that there was a tiger in the mountain, he still chose to go to the Tiger Mountain. This was a powerhouse. If the Emperor was not interested, they might not think it would be beneficial. But now, the Emperor seemed to have interfered and set up a big picture. It should be for the mystery of this place, which aroused their interest. King Suppressing Sky King's group entered. God Creation Envoy's group also entered. Very soon, Hung Yu's group also entered. Not long after, the Netherworld God brought a group of people in. Including Fong Ping's group, there were a total of 5 groups in. At this moment, outside the Myriad Realms Palace, the Myriad Realms Palace was about to disappear completely. Sherpa was stunned. He had been abandoned. Not only the King Suppressing Sky King and the others, even the Netherworld God, and the others did not bring him to play. Why? Sherpa felt wronged. I am at the peak of breaking 7, and I can still unleash the strength of breaking 8 at a critical moment. I am one of the few top-notch powerhouses in the 3 realms. On the Heavenly King ranking, Sherpa is the first person to break 7. But now, even the weak moon spirit was brought along, but Sherpa, was actually abandoned. There was no justice in this world. At this moment, the outer space fluctuated once again. At this moment, the outer space was even more dangerous than before. Breaking 7 alone was in danger of dying. But at this time, a figure walked through the void, looking rather relaxed. In the next moment, a middle-aged man stepped onto the stairs. Sherpa frowned slightly. Who was this? He didn't know him. The man also looked at Sherpa and smiled faintly. Together, who are you? Sherpa's eyes were sharp. At this stage, he knew all the powerhouses of the 3 realms. But this person had at least the strength of breaking 8. Where did an unfamiliar breaking 8 come from? Sherpa, there's no need to know each other. The man smiled. Sherpa stared at him for a while and snorted coldly. The avatar of a king? Or a hidden trump card? There's no such person in the ancient times, or are you one of the most ancient old fellows at the beginning of martial arts? He was so powerful, but there were only those he did not know. The few antiques of the ancient times, the first few in the beginning of martial arts. He should know the others. The few old fellows in the early stage of martial arts appeared and disappeared unpredictably, including the young god. He had only seen them from afar once and was not too familiar with them, so he might not be able to recognize them. This person was not familiar, so it might be one of the few that he did not know. The middle-aged man smiled and said, "Do you have to get to the bottom of it? You can't enter now. Isn't it good to be with me?" Sherpa snorted. Breaking 8. This strength was very dangerous. "Tell me who you are first." Sherpa said hesitantly. "It should be the avatar of a king. Otherwise, I have some impression. Unless it's a clone, forged with external objects, not mixed with its own origin, and controlled by a wisp of soul sense. Even a king wants to go in. Is there really something good inside?" The man smiled without saying anything. Could it be that the things inside can make you emperor stronger? "I don't know." The man replied. Sherpa raised his eyebrows. "It's really a king, one of the 9 emperors, or one of the 4 emperors? The 4 emperors. Are they the avatars of Do? If it's the 9 emperors. Anyway, it's not the spirit emperor. The other 8 are possible." Sherpa commented and stared at him for a while. "You guys are all very sinister. Maybe you want me to guess who it is, but it's not who. Are you Fatty Ling?" "Ha ha ha." The middle-aged man laughed. Sherpa said, "No, otherwise Fatty Ling wouldn't have broken my leg." Sherpa stared at him for a while. "Actually, I'm not too interested in who you are. I just want to ask, did you guys create the boundary point here?" The middle-aged man chuckled. "Yes and no. It was born by chance. But it does have something to do with us. And someone might have some arrangements." "Trap." "Not really." The middle-aged man smiled faintly. "I haven't gone in, so I can't judge." "Sherpa, do you want to go in?" "You can't go in alone. Only with the power to break 3 gates. So, your clone has broken 2 gates. You want me to break the gate of spiritual knowledge?" Sherpa raised his eyebrows. "That's quite strong. Is he a match for Jeanne?" "It's hard to say." The middle-aged man smiled. "Maybe not. He has already walked to the edge of 3 gates. Even if a king has a different understanding of power, rules, and combat, the clone may not be able to beat him. Jeanne is indeed terrifyingly strong." Sherpa understood and quickly smiled. "All right then, I'll reluctantly take you with me. King Clone. Interesting. I don't know if killing you will give you the Emperor's path. Even if it doesn't, I think it will give you a divine weapon. The man smiled. Sherpa, don't be rash. If you attract my true body, you won't have a good time either. Sherpa curled his lips, stepped on the stairs, and said, We'll see. You have broken 8 gates. After all, you have the strength to break 2 gates, get more benefits for me, and I won't do anything to you. Otherwise, what's wrong with a king clone? The middle-aged man stepped on the stairs and chuckled. You still have the same temper. You're not my match. Why say such harsh words? Do you think I don't have a trump card? Sherpa sneered. I dual cultivated with Fatty Ling a few years ago. She left a wisp of origin power in my body at the crucial moment. Fatty Ling will descend and kill you. The middle-aged man's footsteps paused. For real or not? Damn, why don't I believe it? Sherpa, some things can't be said. Would I dare to say that? Sherpa chuckled. I'm telling you in advance, lest you do anything to me. If not, do you think Fatty Ling would have saved me when you tried to kill me? Saved you? The middle-aged man's mouth twitched. After a while he said, You mean those hands from back then? Yes, the middle-aged man said sympathetically. The first hand was Spirit Emperor's. Sherpa's footsteps paused. She saw that you were uncomfortable for a long time, and the first thing she wanted to do was to kill you. Do you think she saved you? Sherpa's expression stiffened, and he snorted, sowing discord between us. I really didn't. The middle-aged man chuckled. In the end, the one who saved your life was not Spirit Emperor, but Dong Huang. Dong Huang saved me? Sherpa did not believe it. Back then, when the heaven realm was destroyed, 3 large hands wanted to destroy him, and the last person saved him. He had always thought that it was Spirit Emperor. It's Dong Huang. The middle-aged man smiled. Dong Huang said that your talent is extraordinary. After successfully creating the origin realm, you can actually guide the origin universe, breaking 8 gates in a different way, different from others. So that time, when he saved you, you actually thought that it was Spirit Emperor. Sherpa snorted. You are Dong Huang's clone? Do me a favor? Do you think I will believe you? Why would Fatty Ling do anything to me? We have dual cultivated before. To tell you the truth, Lindsay is my daughter. This time, the middle-aged man was dumbfounded. Is this real or fake? He said it as if it was real. The middle-aged man was at a loss. Did I see wrong? Am I seeing things? Or is Spirit Emperor trying to cover it up? Lindsay, their daughter? Sherpa said proudly. Now you admit it, right? You still want to fool me. Be careful. Don't have any crooked thoughts. Otherwise, you will not be able to bear the consequences. No matter whose clone you are, if Fatty Ling and I join forces, we can beat you until you cry. The middle-aged man did not speak anymore. He was thinking about life. He felt that Sherpa was fooling him, but he had no evidence. Was Lin Zi this guy and Spirit Emperor's daughter? He did not know. It was really hard to judge. Chapter 1289. At the same time Sherpa and the others entered. At this time, Fong Ping and the others had also found the entrance. At the entrance, Fong Ping narrowed his eyes and kept staring at the crack. He was a little suspicious. Where were the others? When they arrived, there were already people following behind them. Those people were all experts, but where were they now? It seemed that they were the only ones in this place from the moment they entered. While Fong Ping was thinking about this, Li Zhu and the other powerhouses were also thinking about it. They weren't as strong as level 8, so there were some things that they couldn't see too clearly. However, no one followed them in. The few of them knew that there was something wrong. At this moment, Heavenly King Yi said with delight, "It's right here. We found the entrance. Let's go in together." As soon as King Yi Tian finished speaking, Tianji said lazily, "What's the hurry? Yi, where are the others?" Heavenly King Yi smiled and said, "This is a multidimensional space. When others enter, they might not be in the same dimension as us. This was the concept of the 9 heavens. This place also had multiple heavens, and the others might be in another heavens. Everyone understood this concept. However, Heaven's Fate still chuckled and said, "Is that so? Are there any entrances to other dimensions? Maybe. Will we enter a checkpoint? I'm not too sure." Tianji looked at him with a faint smile on his face. After a while, he looked at King Qian and Luan before he said indifferently, "He isn't very reliable." The 4 inspectors were not very reliable, and there was a possibility that they were hiding some secrets. In any case, I'll remind everyone that if you're separated after entering and you meet them, be careful. Also, my celestial fate won't take the blame for what Sheng Hong did. He is him and I am me. Don't confuse us. Sheng Hong smiled bitterly and said helplessly, "Heaven's Fate, you don't try to befriend me." Tianji exhaled and looked around. "I still feel that something is wrong. It's such a big thing, but the humans don't seem to have made any moves at all. Everyone, be careful. The humans aren't easy to deal with. Maybe they're planning something else." As he said that, Celestial Pole looked around and muttered, "Do you guys think, could Fong Ping have already snuck in?" As soon as these words were spoken, everyone's hearts sank. Fong Ping also looked doubtful, but he was cursing in his heart. "Celestial's fate, do you want to get beaten up? What do you mean? What right do you have to slander others? You don't even have any evidence, yet you say that I snuck in. Based on what?" At this moment, Li Zhu's eyes flickered. He too had the same worries. In the 3 realms, there was already too much fear and trepidation. He was really a little scared. Heavenly King, he didn't know whether to laugh or cry. He swept the surroundings with his gaze and said, "It probably isn't. Fong Ping was able to enter this place so easily. He didn't know about this before. From the moment we made the decision to the moment we set off, time passed very quickly. Even if he knew about this, I'm afraid he only found out about it just now." He still couldn't believe it. How long has it been? It had only been 2 days since everyone had been mobilized. It had only been 2 days. His speed was extremely fast. With such a fast speed, even if Fong Ping received the news, he might not have the chance to sneak in. As soon as he said that, everyone felt a little more at ease. However, some people in the crowd were still targeted. King Huai, Fong Ping, and a few other powerhouses whom he was not too familiar with were all being targeted. These people had all joined the group later. Li Zhu took another look at Fong Ping. He glanced at Fong Ping's chest from the corner of his eyes and saw the little tiger. He raised his eyebrows slightly, but did not say anything. This person is suspicious. Although he was a little paranoid, Li Zhu felt that he still had to be more careful. The powerhouses of the 3 realms were really a little scared by Fong Ping. Heavenly Fate also glanced at Fong Ping. He had no evidence and did not find anything unusual. However, he was also a little more vigilant toward strangers. Not only that, Heavenly Fate said faintly, not only the weak, the powerhouses might also be Fong Ping in disguise. Also, maybe not only martial artists, but also some divine weapons. Who knows if Fong Ping is in disguise? Everyone was stunned. Heavenly Fate said faintly, "Everyone, if anyone has obtained a divine weapon recently, please be careful. Fong Ping can restrain his aura and change his form. It's not impossible for him to transform into a divine weapon. He's powerful. If he transforms into a divine weapon, it's not difficult for him to disguise as a holy weapon." Everyone was in danger. Not to mention, there really was someone who had obtained a divine weapon recently. Seeing everyone's fear, Li Zhu coughed softly and said, "Heavenly Fate, it's not that scary. Even if Fong Ping disguises himself and sneaks in, the possibility of him becoming a divine weapon is not high. He's not the kind of person who lets others do whatever they want. Heavenly Fate sneered. That might not be true. Everyone was terrified by someone who did not exist. Heavenly King E and the others looked at each other helplessly. A person's reputation was like a tree's shadow. It had to be said that in the three realms, Fong Ping's strength might not be the strongest, and he was not old, but he had indeed made everyone suffer. Everyone was wary of him. This person had not appeared yet, but everyone was about to fall into internal strife. This could not go on. Heavenly King Yi shouted in a low voice, "Everyone, it's most important to work together." Even if Fong Ping really sneaks in, his purpose is for the ultimate benefit. He won't expose himself so easily now. Therefore, the most important thing now is to enter the arcane realm immediately. Li Zhu and the others looked at each other. Soon, Li Zhu said, "If we go in and split up, everyone, don't act rashly. Wait for us to meet up." After saying that, Li Zhu said nothing else. At this point, they still had to go in. Everyone had no objections. According to their respective forces, they divided into a few groups. The Heavenly King powerhouses shrouded everyone with their mentality. They did not know if many people entered and appeared at the same level, or if they were separated. At this moment, the safest thing was to ensure that they could stay together as much as possible. Fong Ping was also shrouded by King Qian. In the next moment, everyone leaped into the rift. There was a rumble. Everyone entered the rift. The basilica quieted down. Not long after they left, a branch-like jade-colored root flickered slightly in the darkness. Fong Ping and the others entered the arcane realm one after another. It was as if time and space had changed. Soon, Fong Ping's eyes lit up. He appeared on a huge platform. At this moment, Fong Ping was a little alert. He looked around, holding a baby tiger in his hand tightly. He squeezed the baby tiger so hard that the cat stuck its tongue out. Fong Ping was worried that he would be separated from the cat. Just now, he was ruthless and squeezed it especially tightly. Now, it seemed that it was still okay. They were not separated. But soon, Fong Ping frowned. There was still something different. Before entering, the people from the divine sect stood together. But now, there were only a few people around Fong Ping. There were very few people. It was not that there were no people, but there were a lot fewer people. And some of them were not from the divine sect. These people looked at each other, their faces full of vigilance. They actually entered a level randomly. The people who entered were about 100 people from the divine sect, Medicine God Island, Catacombs, Water God Island, and West Imperial Palace. But now, there were less than 20 people gathered here. The others were not here. Everyone landed on a huge platform. It was so huge that they could not even see the edge. Fong Ping had just observed for a while, when someone said in a muffled voice, "Shuraba?" What? Among these people, some were ancient powerhouses, and some were powerhouses after the heavenly realm had collapsed. Not everyone knew about the ancient times. The one who spoke was none other than Tianji. There were two heavenly king powerhouses here. One was Tianji, the other was Shenghong, the first seat of West Imperial Palace. As for the martial artists from the divine sect, there were no heavenly kings here, but there were two saints here. They were the heavenly oracle and the female disciple of the emperor, Seju Ping. Before Fong Ping could meet up with them, there was suddenly one more person beside him. King Pingshan's face was full of joy, happiness. He was actually with Fong Ping. His safety was guaranteed. How blissful. At this moment, he hurried to Fong Ping's side, his face full of anticipation and joy. Fong Ping was speechless. Why is a true god following me? Pingshan, this trash, was too weak. Fong Ping could not be bothered with him here. On the other side, Tianji said in a low voice, the beast emperor's Shuraba. Sheng Hong's expression was also unpleasant. He bellowed, "Everyone, gather together. This is the Beast Emperor's Shuraba, the place where the Beast Emperor selected demon generals in the past. Come quickly." Although everyone was worried, now that the two heavenly kings had spoken, everyone still flew over there. At this moment, the huge platform was faintly glowing red. Blood red. Once they heard the name, Shuraba, even if they did not know, they knew that this was not a good place. At this moment, beside Fang Ping, Tianji, and Yu Ping also gathered. When Tianji saw Fang Ping, he nodded slightly. Even if they were not familiar with a top-notch saint, they were still from the divine sect. At this moment, he was still worth cooperating with. Tianji knew that Niu Meng did not know about the ancient times. At this moment, he transmitted his voice. "This is the Shuraba." Back then, the Beast Emperor had a demon army, accompanying him on expeditions everywhere. The weak are prey to the strong, and the demons are more obvious than us. When the demons select generals, strength is king. It's very bloody. The Shuraba is the arena where the demons select generals. Countless demons go on the stage to fight. The winner is king, and 8 or 9 out of 10 losers die in the Shuraba. In the past, there were even heavenly king powerhouses who died in battle here. Of course, that was not the selection of generals, but the Beast Emperor personally killed a demon traitor. Tianji looked around, frowned, and continued. Among the 9 sovereigns and 4 emperors, the Beast Emperor may not be the strongest, nor is it the cruelest, but it is the Demon Emperor after all. Demons are born to be aggressive and cruel. Be careful. I'm afraid this stage will not be easy. Thank you for the advice, Senior. Fang Ping answered hurriedly. The Beast Emperor's test. The 9 sovereigns and 4 emperors were not to be trifled with. What was this stage's test? Slaughter? Battle? Or what? He did not know how the Beast Emperor would test him. At this moment, Fang Ping was still looking around. Gradually, everyone gathered in the center of the platform. Tianji and Sheng Hong were extremely vigilant. Sheng Hong glanced around, frowning. The tests of these stages might not be prompted by anyone. You can only rely on yourself to find out. Of course, under normal circumstances, there will be some hints for you. If you can pass, you will enter the second stage. If you can't, you can only stay here and wait to fail the test. Hearing that, Tianji asked hurriedly, "Brother Hong, has Ji Yun experienced this Shuraba stage before?" "No," Sheng Hong said in a low voice. Ji Yun went through 3 stages. One was the Emperor's test, the other was the Earthly Sovereign's test. He didn't mention the last stage, so we're not too sure. According to Heavenly King Ji Yun failed in the 4th stage, which was the stage with Heavenly Emperor Batian. Heavenly King did not mention who the last stage was. Sheng Hong said as he said, "Also, this stage's test may not be the same every time. After all, not many people have entered it before, so I'm not too sure. Everyone, be careful. If there's no danger, you can explore it yourself." Fang Ping landed, stepped on the platform, and asked, "This seems to be real. Is this Shuraba real or fake?" Even he could not tell whether this place was real or fake. It was a little scary. Sheng Hong also stepped on the ground and said in a low voice, "I'm not sure. It might be real. This place is not as simple as an illusory spiritual world." Pass the stage. How do we pass the stage? At this moment, someone said faintly, "This place is very strange. The Shuraba focuses on killing. Don't tell me we have to kill a few people to pass the stage." As soon as this was said, everyone stopped in their tracks and stood in one direction, looking horrified. If this was the only way to pass the stage, then it would be troublesome. There were 2 heavenly kings here, and there were a few saints. Tianji, Yu Ping, Fang Ping, Ping Shan, and another venerable emperor, and 3 true gods were all martial artists from the divine sect. At this moment, they all gathered together. 8 people. The divine sect was considered powerful here, but they did not have a heavenly king. Sheng Hong and Tianji were both heavenly kings. On the divine sect side, even if Fang Ping and the other 2 joined forces, they might not be able to stop a heavenly king powerhouse. Sheng Hong scolded, "Shut up! Don't make wild guesses. The reason why we let everyone enter together is not to kill. If we kill for guesses, we might fall into a trap." The one who spoke earlier was the catacombs governor. Tianji was here, and the governor was also a top-notch saint, so they were not too afraid. At this moment, hearing this, he smiled and did not say anything else. Even if they passed by killing people, they would not be in too much danger. A top-notch saint was not a match for a heavenly king, but if Sheng Hong wanted to kill him, Tianji aside. Even if Sheng Hong really wanted to kill him, he might not succeed. On the Shuraba's side, there was still no movement. The crowd walked in all directions. After a while, someone said in a low voice, "We can't go out. The edge is an obstacle. We can't break it. Let's try." The governor stabbed with his spear, and a rumbling sound was heard, but it did not break the thin membrane outside. Not to mention breaking it, it did not even shake. This time, everyone was shocked. What kind of thin membrane did not even shake when a top-notch saint attacked? Sheng Hong growled, "Don't mess around. Even a broken egg can't easily shake this place. How can a saint break it?" "Brother Hong, are we just going to wait like this?" At this moment, Tianji frowned slightly, looked around, then looked at the blood on the ground, and said lightly, "Why don't we kill a true god to test the effect?" As soon as he said this, he looked at Fang Ping. There were a few true kings here, and he was looking at none other than King Pingshan, the catacombs traitor. King Pingshan's face was livid, but he was not to be outdone. He snorted coldly, "I'm a divine sect martial artist. Tianji, don't you try to sow discord." Tianji said coldly, "How dare you? Who are you to question me here?" When he and Tian Ming commanded the catacombs, Pingshan did not exist yet. This fellow was from the true king hall of the Destiny Royal Court. Technically, he was still his subordinate. At this moment, a mere true god actually dared to talk back to him. A heavenly king. Tianji was very unhappy. If King Huai was here now, perhaps Tianji would directly attack King Huai. If not for King Huai, Tian Ming would not have died at all. King Pingshan said nothing. He was depressed, but he was not too afraid. Soon, he was a little afraid. What if Fang Ping did not save him? He had to lick his boots well. King Pingshan hurriedly transmitted his voice to Fang Ping. "Sir, Tianji is ambitious and has always been unfriendly to humans. In the previous battle in the battlefield, Tianji and Tianming also restrained the human powerhouses, which led to a large number of human powerhouses being killed and 6 leaders merging. Fang Ping was speechless. Fang Ping was speechless. Do I need you to remind me? This fellow, was he afraid of death now? No, he had always been afraid of death. We can't keep waiting. At this time, the governor was also a little impatient. If this goes on, when will it end? There are 17 people here, 8 from the divine sect, and 4 true gods. Why don't we give it a try? The divine sect had many people, and so did the true gods. 17 people, for from Medicine God Island, 5 from the catacombs, and 8 from the divine sect. Medicine God Island and the catacombs also had true gods, but the catacombs only had 2 true gods, and the Medicine God Island only had 2. As for the Water God Island, the 3 of them were not here. Tianji looked at Sheng Hong. There were only 2 heavenly kings here. If Sheng Hong had no objections, How could the divine sect resist? The two saints were not weak, but among these two, one was under the emperor, and the other was one of the 36 saints. Why would they risk their lives for the true gods of the divine sect? At this time, on the divine sect's side, the few true gods were livid. They quickly gathered together, a little nervous. There was no movement in the Shuraba. If this went on, everyone's patience would be exhausted sooner or later. As for Fang Ping, he was a little speechless. What was wrong with these fellows' brains? They wanted to kill people at the drop of a hat. Look at me. I have never thought of killing people. At this moment, Fang Ping said, "Seniors, killing people may not solve the problem. Why don't we do this? Since this is the Shuraba, it may be related to murderous aura and blood. Why don't we let them release some blood and try releasing some murderous aura?" As soon as this was said, Sheng Hong was a little stunned. They were all King thinking about killing a few people. Fang Ping suggested this. Sheng Hong said, "True god martial artists, release some blood and try." The few true gods did not dare to hesitate. They were prepared to kill true gods previously. Now it was just letting out blood, so there was no problem. The few true gods cut their palms one after another. Blood spurted out and splattered on the ground. At this moment, the Shuraba's ground began to surge, like a living creature devouring the blood. Very soon, the blood was devoured clean, but there was no movement. This time, the few true gods were terrified. The governor said faintly, "It should not be enough. Since there is movement, it means that the blood is effective. Continue." The few true gods did not dare to be negligent, releasing blood again. The ground continued to devour. Continue. Again and again, the few true gods released a lot of blood. The blood of powerhouses contained energy. At this moment, this Shuraba did not have any replenishment. Very soon, the few true gods' faces were a little pale. Their auras were also a little chaotic. Fang Ping frowned slightly. Looking at the situation, the few true gods could not make it. This round might not be so easy to pass. Maybe they would really have to die, but this dead person, he might be exposed. If all the true gods died, and it was not enough, then would it not be emperor level? At this moment, the governor frowned slightly, looked at Fang Ping, and said in a low voice, "Niumeng, your monster mount, let out blood too. This is the demon clan's Shuraba. The blood of the demon clan might have a miraculous effect." As soon as the words came out, everyone looked at Fang Ping. Even the few true gods looked at Fang Ping with some anticipation. This was the demon clan's Shuraba, and Fang Ping with a demon clan mount. In Fang Ping's arms, the cat poked its head out, the king character on top of its head looking even more crooked. At this moment, being stared at by everyone, the cat was not afraid, only curious. Why were they looking at me? Want to let me bleed? Beside Fang Ping, King Ping Shan breathed a sigh of relief, feeling a little lucky. The governor was really a good person. This time, they had provoked Fang Ping. Before this, he was still worried that Fang Ping would not help them. Now, you want Fang Ping to let out the cat's blood. He had guessed that the tiger was a cat before this. Fang Ping glanced at the governor, smiled, and said, "This mount of mine only has rank 9 strength. The blood force is not strong." The governor said coldly, "I still have to try." Fang Ping smiled bitterly. Why bother? "Little tiger, do you want to try?" Fang Ping looked down at the cat. The cat looked at him, shook its head, and refused. This cat was not going to bleed. At this moment, Tian Ji suddenly said, "What's the use of a rank 9 demon? If true God's blood is useless, then try stronger blood. Emperor level, saint, even heavenly king's blood. You can try." As soon as this was said, The governor looked at him in surprise. Tianji did not bat an eyelid, but he was vigilant. He quickly transmitted his voice. "Don't act rashly." Before Li Zhu came in, he reminded me that here there are a few of you who should not act rashly. If Fang Ping sneaks in, even if he does not intend to reveal his identity, if he forces it again and again, you have to know what will happen if he is forced to reveal his identity. As soon as this was said, the governor was shocked. He almost forgot about this. If this was Fang Ping's disguise and Fang Ping was forced to reveal his identity, he might die. Tianji's words made Sheng Hong feel a little strange. Sheng Hong glanced at him from the corner of his eyes, then looked at Fang Ping, saying nothing. Actually, he felt that Fang Ping might not be here, but the powerhouses of the three realms were extremely afraid of Fang Ping. He had also seen the other's viciousness. Previously, 6 heavenly kings and 8 saint patrols were killed. If it were not for the few of them being related to these celestial terminus, they might have been killed too. And all of this was caused by Fang Ping. When Tianji suddenly spoke up to stop him, he understood what celestial terminus meant. He was a little afraid of this person, afraid that he was Fang Ping in disguise. Sheng Hong did not say anything, nor did he continue the topic just now. At this moment, he said, "Then try the blood of martial artists of other ranks." As for the matter of forcing Song Mao to bleed just now, everyone chose to forget about it. As for Fang Ping, he was also targeted by some people, including Tianji and the few others. They were also looking at Fang Ping with some strange gazes. Fang Ping remained calm, but in his heart, he sighed. These people had a strong desire to live. I didn't do anything. Had Niu Meng's identity been exposed, should I kill one of them and change my identity? For example, King Pingshan. Fang Ping turned his head and glanced at King Pingshan. At first, King Pingshan was full of smiles, but when he saw Fang Ping's gaze, he was suddenly shocked, as if he had understood something, and his face turned pale with fright. Don't kill me. Pretending to be a weakling like me is a disgrace to you, the King of Man. P.S. Seeking monthly votes. You're tuning in to the Mystic Fist YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.